is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Progressive Insurance.
I'm Christopher Cruz. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky this morning is saying any peace deal with Russia has to include the deployment of foreign troops to Ukraine to guarantee its security. He met yesterday with President Trump, who says a peace deal is close.
President Zelensky was in the U.S. to seek support for a revised 20-point peace proposal, which has been changed from the initial draft, which was criticized for including much of the Russian point of view. Now, that draft has been changed, allowing for some input from the Ukrainians. Any plan would need the approval of Moscow, and so far, Russia has not weighed in on these recent changes to that 20-point peace proposal. Willie James Inman, CBS News, West Palm Beach, Florida.
And a senior Russian official told reporters today he now agrees with Trump that talks to end the Ukraine war are in their final stage. Next up for President Trump, a meeting with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Former State Department Middle East negotiator Aaron David Miller says there are major issues that need to be resolved before Israel can move to phase 2 of the Gaza peace deal.
They're not going to give up their weapons unless the Israelis can give a firm commitment and a timetable for withdrawing Israeli forces from the 53% of Gaza that Israel controls.
China today is conducting a major military operation near Taiwan, a democratic island that China claims as its own. Taiwan says it has detected 89 Chinese military aircraft and 28 warships and Coast Guard vessels as China conducts live-fire drills. Taiwan said it's placing its military on alert and called China, quote, the biggest destroyer of peace. The upper Midwest has been getting pummeled by heavy snow.
Lots of blowing, drifting snow has made driving difficult, if not impossible, in many places. Even people who generally like winter are fed up with all this snow.
Just close my eyes and hope it's gone.
What's the worst thing about it? The cleanup.
But some people like it.
I personally like it. I wouldn't want to live anywhere else. It's good that the seasons change.
Bruce Marcus for CBS News, Eagle River, Wisconsin.
Snowfall totals were expected to exceed a foot across parts of the upper Great Lakes and as much as 2 feet along the south shore of Lake Superior. For the Northeast today, a mix of snow, ice, and rain. A fire at a nursing home on the Indonesian island of Sulawesi late last night killed more than 16 people and injured 3. Dow futures have been moving from red to green and back to red all morning. S&P 500 futures have been down about 0.25% all morning. This is CBS News.
Brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Not only does Progressive let you bundle your insurance, they also give you round-the-clock protection. Quote today at Progressive.com.
At 6:03, it's clear and 17 degrees downtown at the Gateway Arch. It is Monday, December 29th. Good morning, I'm Scott Jagow.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. We are in a wind advisory until, well, it's about to expire, and it's going to continue to bring us frigid temperatures. The St. Louis City Fire Department is battling a blaze early this morning. According to a post on the department's X account, a 2-story building has caught fire at the 5700 block of Wabada in the Wells Goodfellow neighborhood. The department says the building is believed to be vacant, but a search is underway.
Teamwork on display between police in St. Louis City and county. This happened yesterday. County Police spokeswoman Vera Clay explains why officers were called to the 8500 block of Jenny Drive late last night.
An accidental injury, or what they believed was an accidental injury. When officers arrived on scene, they did locate an elderly female who had actually been stabbed at least one time.
That 81-year-old woman died from her injuries. St. Louis police were able to track a suspect's car to a gas station on Natural Bridge in Union. The man refused to get out. Officers used non-lethal means to get him to surrender.
One person died in a multi-car accident Sunday morning in South St. Louis. Police say it happened around 9:30 in the area of Watson and Bradley. That is in the Lindenwood Park neighborhood. The victim's name has not been released.
Now that the Chiefs plan to leave Missouri by 2031, does the move change Republican plans to phase out the state income tax? MissouriNet asked House Speaker Jonathan Patterson of Lee's Summit.
That won't affect our plans for income tax reform. And in fact, you can make the argument that this is one of the reasons that we should pursue an income tax reform.
Governor Kehoe says he plans to roll out his idea soon to phase out Missouri's income tax. House Democratic leader Ashley of Kansas City, says in recent weeks, Kehoe has undermined the viability of the plan offered to the chiefs to stay because he's called for the elimination of state income taxes.
Life-saving measures would be required for babies who survive an abortion under a pre-filed bill in the Missouri Senate.
Republican Senator Brett Hudson of Stone County says the Born Alive Abortion Survivor Act would allow first-degree murder charges to be filed against doctors and staff that deliberately kill or allow a baby to die after a botched abortion.
In my mind, if you have a child that has been born alive and you refuse to provide that child with the care that you are able to provide that child to make sure that child lives, in my view, that is murder.
Hudson's proposal would also allow doctors and staff at abortion clinics to be sued if a child born alive does not receive life-saving care. A similar bill passed the Missouri House earlier this year but died in the Senate. Stuart McMillan, KMOX News.
The Sleep in Heavenly Peace charity builds beds for children in need across the country, but you can't build beds without tools. The chapter in Macoupin County, Illinois, had most of its storage bins of tools stolen on Christmas Eve.
When something bad happens, it can really bring out the best in a community.
That's Josh Carnduff, the co-president of the Sleep in Heavenly Peace volunteer group in Carlinville. He says they turned to social media for help and donations started pouring in.
In my eyes, in my mind, it's what Carlinville is about. The amount of support that we have had from the community, the amount of outreach, the amount of shares on social media, the amount of businesses that have stepped up and wanted to help.
Carnduff says the best way to reach them is through their Facebook page or through the website shp.org. Just look for the Carlinville, Illinois chapter information. Brad Choate, KMOX News.
Could a deal like the Chiefs' new Kansas Stadium happen in St. Louis today? Republican John Hancock and Democrat Michael Kelly agree it would be an uphill battle. Political infighting in Kansas City and Missouri helped push the team across the border. Kelly says the St. Louis region's fractured government structure makes it nearly impossible to secure the sheer amount of land needed for a modern stadium district.
Just imagine had they been in St. Louis, they would have had to deal with one of the 87 municipalities on top of the city and the county and the state and the municipality.
You know, the revenue, though.
Hancock says the tax revenue to hit the state from no longer hosting Chiefs home games will hurt.
A semi carrying a load of potatoes crashed along a Metro East Interstate's off-ramp Saturday. It caused the potatoes to spill onto the ground. It happened around 2 in the afternoon as the driver tried to take the ramp from 270 to I-55 at Troy. Illinois State Police say the semi skidded off the road, down an embankment, and rolled on its side. The driver was taken to a hospital for treatment of injuries.
The Business Desk, sponsored by Krentz Financial Group, KFGadvisors.com. We'll take a look at that and our traffic and weather forecast next.
Coverage varies by plan, view contracts and exclusions at EnduranceWarranty.com. Auto repair bills are through the roof. $3,000 to replace the transmission, $4,000 for a blown engine. And if your manufacturer's warranty is expired, you'll have to cover it all out of pocket. You need an Endurance Auto Protection Plan. No matter what the mileage, if your car is under 20 years old, Endurance can get you covered on the engine, electrical system, transmission, AC, drivetrain, and more. Endurance has plans for any budget. Repairs can be done at the certified mechanic of your choice, and they're paid directly with no middleman. Plans cover 24/7 roadside assistance, towing, battery jumps, fuel deliveries, tire changes, lockout services, and a 30-day money-back guarantee. Act now and get our elite benefits, including complete tire care and key fob replacement. A $2,000 value at no extra cost. With Endurance, you could never pay for covered auto repairs again, so call now for your free quote. Call 800-458-3124. 800-458-3124. 800-458-3124. Attention, have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers. So don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, You can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-358-6868. That's 800-358-6868. Again, 800-358-6868.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts.
At 6:10, we're checking traffic and weather together. Roger Brand's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, we're doing great out there right now, Scott. Easy going on the highways. It's another holiday week with New Year's right in the middle of the week. Like last week, we had Christmas. A lot of kids probably still off school, people out of town. So don't expect too much in the way of delays. Hopefully, we'll be getting through a pretty easy commute this morning, and we'll see how it plays out. Monday mornings tend to be lighter anyway. Usually Tuesday is when we see more volume. But like I said, with a holiday week, you can throw pretty much all that out the window, I think. Right now, good to go. We had an incident reported southbound 67 near the Clark Bridge. I still don't see any delays through that area, so we're okay there. We still look great in the work zones. 55 down in Festus and north of Bayless. 270 between 64 and Ladue out west. 70 Warrenton, Wright City area. Everything is light and on the go for you in those stretches as well. Next update at 6:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Very windy today and much colder than recent days. Clouded, a few snow flurries this morning, followed by some afternoon sun. Our high just 30. AccuWeather real field temperatures hovering near zero this morning, only into the low teens later this afternoon. Tonight, mainly clear, breezy, and quite cold, low 19 with real feel single digits. Plenty of sunshine tomorrow, a cold breeze, high 35. Not quite so cold Wednesday, partly sunny, the high 43. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It's 16 degrees in Florissant, 15 in St. Peters, windy 16 downtown, feels like 5 below at the Arch.
It is 6:12. What's the point of the Board of Aldermen starting a legal fight over who serves as interim sheriff for only a few weeks?
Yes, this is about the sheriff, but it's not really about the sheriff.
Aldermanic President Megan Green says, really, this is about the process of naming the interim. She says the mayor is overstepping her authority by not including the Board of Aldermen.
And we really have an obligation as a body to protect the institution of the Board of Aldermen.
Green says the board historically has taken the lead on naming the interim sheriff when a vacancy arises. She adds this was the understanding they had with the mayor until 2 months ago. In a statement, Mayor Kara Spencer says she believes they were all being collaborative as the courts decide who can name the interim sheriff. She adds it is not important to her who the courts decide has that authority. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
Today, the board meets on a resolution to hold a special election March 3rd to elect a permanent sheriff.
The last day to file petitions to run in any of Missouri's April 7th election municipal races is this Tuesday. Candidate filings began on December 9th. The last day to register to vote in April's general election is March 11th.
A Missouri man is behind bars accused in a Christmas Eve stabbing in a suburb of Chicago.
Burr Ridge police arrested 40-year-old Uberklian Vasquez Villarreal of Missouri at the Extended Stay America Hotel on Frontage Road. It was about 2:30 Christmas Eve morning. Police were told there had been a stabbing and say they found Vasquez Villarreal with blood on his hands and say he stabbed one of the people he was sharing the hotel room with several times. The victim was found unresponsive and hospitalized in unknown condition. The DuPage County State's Attorney's Office says Vasquez Villarreal is charged with armed violence and aggravated battery and is due back in court January 20th. Terry Keschner, 105.9 WBBM.
A man was killed after riding his motorcycle off the road Friday afternoon in South County. Police say it happened about 1:30 in the 6300 block of Lee May Ferry Road near Merrimack View Drive. The biker was taken to the hospital where he died.
We're awaiting word from the Highway Patrol about an investigation into a woman being killed by a dog in Bourbon, Missouri. The attack happened late Saturday night in a home off Hickory Street. It's leading to more calls for animal control in town. A charity group has been established to help Bourbon get animal control.
A new study from the University of Illinois Springfield finds Illinois CBD hemp farmers are still operating in a legal gray area years after hemp was legalized. WBBM's Glenn Marshall.
The peer-reviewed research led by UIS Environmental Studies Department found farmers face ongoing stigma, surprise inspections, banking hurdles, and confusion among regulators over the difference between hemp and marijuana. Researchers warn a new federal law redefining hemp could threaten many CBD products and small farm livelihoods starting in 2026.
don't think our friends at WBBM were happy about how this ended. This is for our friend Henry Barnes watching on Facebook. He's a big 49ers fan, and here it is from Westwood 1.
And 10. Two receivers left and right. Williams in the shotgun, Swift to his left. Here's the snap. Williams back, looks right, throws short right, caught by Loveland, flips it back to Swift, inside the 5. Swift is down around the 3-yard line. Looks like it's going to be a first down. They have no timeouts. Clock moving down to 7. It's at 6. Bears get lined up. Williams will clock it. They'll stop the clock at 4. That was a first down, so they stop it. With 4 seconds left, it'll be 2nd and goal. The ball is in between the 2 and the 3. They ran the little hook and ladder.
They got one play. One play.
Wow.
Unless obviously it's a quick out and a quick throw, but
game is on the line. 2nd and goal from the 2. Williams in the shotgun, 2 receivers left, single man right. Swift in motion to the left, shotgun snap, Williams back, Williams looking, spinning in the backfield, gets away from Huff, rolling to his left, flips his hips, backpedaling now, still looking, hit as he throws, and it is incomplete! Incomplete in the end zone, and the 49ers win!
Wow. What a game. Brock Purdy threw a 38-yard touchdown pass to Jawan Jennings with 2:15 to play. And then it came down to that play. The 49ers forcing an incomplete pass on the final play from the 2 to beat the Bears 42-38 and set up a Week 18 showdown for the top seed in the NFC. Caleb Williams drove the Bears down the field in the closing seconds, had one last shot right there for the win, but Bryce Huff forced him out of the pocket, and his throw short-hopped Jahdae Walker in the end zone to seal a 6th straight victory for the 49ers. 49ers can secure the top seed by beating Seattle on Saturday night. The Patriots became the 4th team to clinch a division title. The Browns kept the Ravens alive, and the 49ers moved closer to that number 1 seed. There's still plenty left to be settled before the NFL's playoff schedule is set. 12 of the 14 playoff berths have been secured. 4 teams are battling for the final 2 spots. Both number 1 seeds are still up for grabs. There could be 2 winner-take-all games in Week 18. New England routed the Jets 42-10 on Sunday and clinched the AFC East title when the Bills lost to the Eagles. The Patriots completed a worst-to-first turnaround under first-year coach Mike Vrabel. Checking the NFL standings. So who are the teams still waiting to get in? There's a pair of teams in the AFC North, Pittsburgh and Baltimore. The Steelers lost to the Browns, and the Ravens earlier put a punishment on the Packers. So they're 8-8, and the Steelers are 9-7. And, oh, look at this. Who's playing in Week 18? Pittsburgh hosting Baltimore. You think that'll be a good one? Yes, it will. On Sunday night, they've arranged to make that the Sunday night game. The other that is still to be determined is the NFC South. Carolina 8-8, Tampa Bay 7-9, still alive. And Carolina, oh, look at this, how convenient. Will be playing at Tampa Bay, and that'll be Sunday at noon. So the NFL does it again. We'll check the college football playoff for you coming up in a half hour. We'll also hear from Cardinals President of Baseball Operations, Chaim Bloom. College basketball, both the SLU men and women win big. We'll have it for you in a half hour on the home of the Cardinals and the Billikens, 104.1 FM KMOX.
Overhead Door Company of St. Louis, the genuine, the original, present 100 years of KMOX.
Live from Forest Park.
There, when we took it to the streets.
We're standing in the Lindell Pavilion across from the Jefferson Memorial in Forest Park, where the Jack Carney Parade is passing in review.
Now we take you to Don Miller. Don is flying around in the KMOX jet copter. He has an overview of the entire parade.
Okay, Mike, and I just wish that everyone could have our panoramic view of this spectacle.
And that'll wrap it up from the reviewing stand in the Jack Carney. It's great to be an American. It's great to be a St. Louisan, and nobody asked me to be in a parade before. Parade. I'm Bob Costas.
There for every headline. every heartbreak, every heartbeat. KMOX, the voice of St. Louis. Brought to you by the Polar Express at St. Louis Union Station. Get your tickets now at stlpolarexpressride.com.
They say moving is one of the most stressful things that you will do in your life. I believe it. Adding into that, selling your home. That can be very stressful too. And that's why you need the right agent on your side. An agent who can take that stress off your shoulders so that you can focus on other things. So if you're ready to pack, call Gloria Lou of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Gloria Lou doesn't just sell 4 or 5 homes a year. Gloria and her team are closing a home just about every other day because Gloria has the buyers. That's why her website is gloriahasthebuyers.com, and she will guarantee in writing to sell your home at your agreed upon price, or she will buy it herself. So maybe you have to leave town. Maybe you've already gotten a new job and you've moved out of state. Gloria and her team can take care of all the details. Whatever the situation is, talk it over with Gloria. She will have a solution for you, and she will sell your home. She guarantees it. Seller and Gloria must agree on price and possession date. Just give her a call at 314-325-6888. Gloria Lou of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty, gloriahasthebuyers.com.
Total Information AM on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
It is 6:21. Let's see what the roads look like. Roger Brands in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, they look great out there right now, Scott. There aren't any issues to speak of, at least on the interstate, so we're good to go. Everything around the area, stalls are popping up periodically. They just reported one a moment ago, eastbound 364 near 141. Looks like it's already over on the shoulder. Don't see any delays there. I do see a little bit of a backup now. Southbound 79 at TR Hughes. Last week, I guess it was Friday, we had the signals were on red flash there, so that may still be the case. It was slower earlier, then it seemed to clear out, but now I'm seeing a little bit of a backup at that location. That's the only delays on any roadways we've got on both sides of the river. Otherwise, like I said, it's a very light day. It should be a light week. It's another holiday week, so we'll see how it plays out. Next update at 6:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Weather forecast from AccuWeather's Joe Lundberg. Very windy, much colder than recent days. Clouds, a few flurries giving way to some sun. A high of just 30 degrees. AccuWeather real field temperatures near 0 this morning, rising into the low teens this afternoon. That's all you're going to get. Tonight, mainly clear, breezy, cold, low 19. Real feels in the single digits. Tomorrow, mostly sunny with a cold breeze and a high of 35 degrees. Currently, it's windy, 16, feels like 5 below downtown at the Arch.
The news continues at 6:23. The national charity Sleep in Heavenly Peace relies on volunteers in local communities to build beds for kids who don't have them. Unfortunately, the Carlinville, Illinois chapter had its storage unit broken into Christmas Eve, and somebody stole all the tools. KMOX's Brad Choate talked with chapter co-president Josh Carnduff about how the community is rallying to get the charity back in business.
They got, all of our drills and impacts, our sanders. They even took our miter saw with the miter saw cart and took everything as little as a rubber mallet.
Unbelievable. What holiday spirit, huh?
Yeah, it's it was quite frustrating. We've been working with the Carlinville Police Department. They've been great with trying to help us out and figure out what was going on, and the school has also been great with it. It's just, it's unfortunate. They said that they haven't had any calls out there in 5 years or so, and now that we were out there, someone decided that I don't know what they were looking for, but very unfortunate.
So now the community's rallying. Tell me about that.
Brad, I will tell you, it is in my eyes, in my mind, it's what Carlinville is about. The amount of support that we have had from the community, the amount of outreach, the amount of shares on social media, the amount of businesses that have stepped up and wanted to help, just the people, the community. It's amazing how when something bad happens, it can really bring out the best in a community, right? So, you see everything on social media, and basically when you get a community together on social media, you only see people arguing. And, with this unfortunate situation, it's only been true support. And like I said, in my eyes, really shows what the values of Carlinville is all about.
And so now you'll hopefully be able to replace them, and then any extra money will go towards the charity, right?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we'll be able to replace our tools, hopefully after, receiving enough donations, which we're on our way for. Like I said, the community's been great. But we'll be able to replace the tools. We'll potentially be able to buy some more tools that actually allows us to have more community volunteers come out and help build beds. And then it'll also go directly towards, the lumber to build the beds, the mattresses, the bedding, everything like that. The community really has just been great with everything, with any kinds of donations to us. So we're very blessed and very grateful.
And did I see you got like 30-something orders to fill in the new year?
Yeah, so far we just launched in October, and we've delivered 17 beds so far in just a couple months, and we have over 30 applications out right now. And the one thing that I ask from applications, because what we do, Brad, is no strings attached. Our goal is when we deliver the full bed, mattress, bedding to where the kids can jump right in. And it's no strings attached, but the one thing that I ask is to continue to let people in the area that we serve know that this resource is available. In our minds, the best thing that people can do for us is make sure that if anyone else is in need, we can hopefully fulfill that need.
It is 6:27, and your time check sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
Hey, Missouri, if you haven't heard by now, FanDuel Sportsbook is live here in the Show Me State, and they're kicking things off with an offer that is really tough to beat. So right now, new customers can bet $5 and then get $300 in bonus bets. Whether you win or lose that initial $5 bet, you get those $300 bonus bets either direction. And it doesn't matter what you're choosing. Whether it's football, basketball, hockey, you can bet it all on an app that is safe, secure, and super easy to use. I've been on it since the app launched years ago. I just couldn't play in Missouri until now. Now I get to, and you can do. So download FanDuel today or head to FanDuel.com/Missouri to join in on the excitement, because Missouri, it's time to play your game with FanDuel. Remember, 21 and older and present in Missouri. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit is required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bet that expires 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com.
My name is Whitney Allen. I am a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought in a million years we'd have to use life insurance. The unexpected happened. With Ethos, it is so fast and easy. It's 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage through Ethos.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ETHOS.com/radio.
Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
What's up, everybody? I'm Nick Costos, and watching sports isn't a hobby, it's a lifestyle. And my show is not a job, it's a passion. From the NFL playoffs to the NBA and everything in between, celebrate sports with me every day on You Better You Bet from 9 a.m. to noon Eastern. Download the Odyssey app now and listen to Westwood One Sports from anywhere. It's You Better You Bet with me, Nick Costos, live and interactive Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to noon Eastern, presented by BetMGM.
Reel in the big one at the best fishing expo in the Midwest, the Let's Go Fishing Show on January 2nd through 4th at Gateway Convention Center in Collinsville. Visit vendors with the latest fishing boats, rods, reels, tackle, accessories, resorts, and guided services. Shop unique, one-of-a-kind items and top-of-the-line marine electronics at discount prices. Attend free seminars. Meet pro anglers, Bassmaster Elite Series Pro, Brandon Palaniuk, Carl Jacobson, and more. Free fishing pond. Win prizes from Canoe Canada and Tri-State Trolling Motors. Visit letsgoshows.com for coupons and more info.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at lancedrurylaw.com.
16 degrees, feels like 5 below downtown at the Arch at 6:30. I'm Tom Ackerman.
And I'm Scott Jagow. Let's see what the roads look like from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center. Good morning, Roger.
Well, good morning, Scott, Tom, everybody. It's a pretty good morning out there. It looks like to me like it's on the right shoulder anyway. A minor crash reported northbound 270. They're calling it north of Gravois, but I'd call it really closer to 44. But again, from my vantage point, it looks like it's on the shoulder. North 270 just has a little slowdown approaching it there before you get to 44. So it's not jammed, but it doesn't look like any police are on the scene yet. So we'll see how that plays out once we get them on the scene, and maybe Mode out there as well. Still seeing just a brief delay. Southbound 79 at TR Hughes on Friday. We had signal problems there, so not sure if that's still an issue or not. Just not enough volume to gauge it right now in that area. Downtown, we still look great. Westbound, no issues for Illinois drivers. These interstates are pretty much wide open with the exception of that brief slowdown we've got on North 270 right now. Next update at 6:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg says very windy, much colder than recent days. We have experienced that over the last 12 hours or so. It is freezing out there. We could get a few flurries giving way to some sun today. A high of just 30. Real field temperatures near zero this morning, rising into the low teens this afternoon, back down into the single digits tonight. And then tomorrow, mostly sunny with a cold breeze and a high of 35 degrees. Currently at 16, feels like 5 below downtown at the Arch.
It is 6:32. A massive car break-in at a Wildwood apartment complex leads to a police chase early Christmas morning.
St. Louis County Police say 18 vehicles were tampered with at the Rockwood Springs Apartments. One vehicle stolen. Police spotted that stolen car and pursued it into the city of Wildwood, but say the suspect eventually got away. One tenant told Fox 2 News that management sent an email stating the crimes did not happen on the property. Rob Anderson, owner of Maximum Auto Vision, was busy cleaning up the damage on that property.
She had a door glass repair. So someone smashed her door glass. There was a bunch of glass everywhere. So we had to vacuum it up, get a new glass in there. It didn't take long at all.
Not much was taken. Some medicine, a person's keys, and a water bottle. Tenants now tell Fox 2 they're pushing for better lighting and security cameras near the carports. Stuart McMillan, KMOX News.
Officials in Long Creek, Illinois are assessing the damage after a possible tornado struck Macon County Sheriff Lieutenant Scott Flannery.
It was a nightmare. I mean, that's just the best way to put it. I mean, you see people that this is my community. I actually live probably about a mile and a half from here. And I know these people. So to actually get on scene thinking it's going to be just some power lines that are down and maybe a road or a tree down or something like that, turned out that we have people that are losing their homes tonight.
Wind advisories are in effect from Texas to New Jersey.
With the departure of Wilson Contreras to Boston, the Cards will have a new first baseman to start the season, just like they did this past season. President of Baseball Operations Chaim Bloom said on KMOX's Sports on a Sunday Morning that veteran Alec Burleson is one to watch.
I think Burley's going to get a lot of run there. I would expect that there's going to be other people who will factor into that picture as it's still rounding out. But, it's something that he's done before that we have a lot of confidence in him to handle.
Bloom says no trades are imminent, but he's always looking to add talent if a deal makes sense.
We'll hear from Bloom coming up at 6:45 about the health of the newest pitcher they acquired for Contreras, Hunter Dobbins. The news sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com. Your Money Minute next.
Okay, I don't want to be mean, but if you're a guy and you just have a grimy, multiple times refilled bottle of Dial that's got the crusty soap on the outside, that's a red flag.
What if you just have a bar of Dial soap with no soap dish?
I never like the bar of soap.
What if you have one bar of soap and you take it from the shower to the sink, back to the shower? How would you feel good about going to that guy's house?
Oh my gosh, I think I would just leave without saying anything.
Chris Ronchi, Amy Mark Scores, weekdays at 9 on KMOX.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Do you feel embarrassed, trapped, maybe even ashamed just because you own a timeshare? Well, I'm here to tell you you're not alone. Chuck McDowell here, the timeshare cancellation guy. I get over 3,000 complaints a week from all kinds of folks that feel the same way you do. Honest people, teachers, veterans, grandparents, all losing sleep over a timeshare they can't get rid of. That's why 15 years ago, I founded Wesley Financial Group to help people take their lives back. Today, I run Wesley with my 2 sons, a real family business, treating every client and every employee like we would want our own family to be treated. That mindset has helped us cancel over 50,000 timeshares from people just like you. So if you're stuck in a timeshare, give us a call. Let our family help your family.
Call Wesley now for your free timeshare exit kit. 800-981-4455. That's 800-981-4455. 800-981-4455.
Brought to you by Eamon Gantner and Capriano, YourEstateMatters.com.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. The final 5 Wall Street trading days of an old year and the first 2 of the new are nicknamed the Santa Claus Rally because individual and institutional investors often cram extra money into the market and send it higher. That phenomenon does not happen every year, and the chance of it happening this time depends in part on the Fed, whose moves, both large and small, could help determine the path for the economy and the markets in 2026. Tomorrow we get minutes of the December Fed Reserve meeting at which policymakers, citing inflation becoming tamer and the job market becoming weaker, voted to cut key interest rates a 0.25 percentage point. But that decision was not unanimous, and as with the previous Fed meeting in October, minutes could show strongly differing views both on interest rates and on monetary policy overall. Minutes from that previous meeting showed several Fed committee members had not supported further interest rate cuts. Andrew O'Day, Bloomberg Radio.
How many of you think taxes will go up in the future? And if they do, who will get hit the hardest? Maybe it's you, headed for retirement. You've been saving in that 401k or IRA for years, and that money has never been taxed. And Uncle Sam is looking at that account like it's a big, juicy steak. What can you do about it? Join the All Financial Group for their Taxes in Retirement Seminar, Thursday, January 22nd or Tuesday the 27th. They believe a financial plan is not a retirement plan without a tax plan. Reserve your spot today by calling 636-230-8824. That's 636-230-8824. Or go to yourmoneymattersstl.com. Investment advisory products and services made available through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, IPW, a registered investment advisor. Neither the firm nor its agents nor representatives may offer tax or legal advice. Individuals should consult with their qualified professional for guidance before making any purchasing decisions.
Knows that pros never settle. Get tools that perform at the highest level on every job without compromise. When you shop Makita at the Home Depot, these tools don't just meet expectations, they redefine them. Makita is for the most detailed pros, expertly designed to deliver precision job after job. When the job calls for the best, call on Makita. Makita, built to be the best, available at the Home Depot. How pros get more done.
As a mom, comforting my family is what I do best. Vicks VapoStick provides soothing, non-medicated Vicks vapors in an easy-to-apply stick, and it dries fast, so there's no mess. I use it to comfort myself and my family.
Thanks, Mom.
Vicks VapoStick, soothing comfort for the whole family. And try Vicks Vapo Shower Max for steamy Vicks vapors when you need more comfort for yourself. Use as directed.
I'm Ultima Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Every time one of my children started driving, it was terrifying. I am quite aware of the dangers being on the road. Thousands of accidents happen across the country. We see it every day. These families' lives will be changed in an instant. We fight for these families as if they were our own. We've become America's largest injury law firm by winning cases just like these. If you've been injured in a car accident, call us.
Injured? Dial Pound Law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
This holiday season, when you get them STIHL, batteries are included. Buy select battery tool sets and get a free extra battery. Visit STIHLUSA.com for gift ideas and seasonal savings. Happy holidays from STIHL. Offer valid for a limited time only at participating dealers while supplies last.
Get ready for Monday Night Football as the Rams face the Falcons.
Siteman Cancer Center game time, 6 p.m. Siteman Cancer Center, national leaders in cancer.
The Rams, the Falcons, on America's Sports Voice, 104.1 FM KMOX.
Tanning bed concerns. I'm Fred Bottomer with 60 Seconds to Better Health. A new study by Northwestern Medicine and the University of California at San Francisco found that tanning bed use is linked to a significant increase in melanoma risk.
When we compared these two groups and controlled for other risk factors such as history of sunburn or family history of melanoma, the tanning bed group still had an odds ratio or essentially threefold higher risk of melanoma than the control group. It doesn't take a lot of exposures to really cause a significant increase in risk. So even anywhere between 10 and 50 total exposures, and in some cases these patients only did have about 10 to 20 exposures, your risk is more than twofold. If you had 100 or more exposures, the risk was all the way at sixfold higher. And if you had over 200 tanning bed exposures, your risk was nearly 8 times higher.
With 60 Seconds to Better Health, I'm Fred Bottomer.
Let's check on the roads at 641. Roger Brand and the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Scott, they made quick work of that crash north 270 before 44. Police were there for a few minutes, and I just saw the flashing lights go on around the bend, so I guess they're clearing it off at the ramp to Watson, eastbound 44 there. North 270, it was busy. It was a little slow, but it's already thinned out, so that's good news. They're wrapping up an earlier crash, Old Halls Ferry per Shaw. There was a little slow traffic at that intersection. Other than that, though, these interstates are light and on the go for you so far on both sides of the river. Not seeing any delays at this time. Next update is 650 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Sponsored by Gloria Lou with your home sold guaranteed realty 314-325-6888.
Need to sell your home and you want the most money? The name to remember is Gloria Lou. Yes, Gloria Lou with your home sold guaranteed realty at 314-325-6888 and start packing.
AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg joins us. Our Facebook viewer Tim wants to know what's going on in Minnesota. Travel not advised there, Joe, as they have a major winter storm. Isn't that right?
Yeah, it's not so much the snow, it's the fact that the wind is blowing at 20 to 30 miles an hour with gusts to 40 miles per hour, and it's a powdery snow, so it's moved about very easily. So the visibility is extremely low when blowing snow in open areas. So that's what the problem that they're seeing there. It's not the amount of snow, it's the wind with that snow that's moving things about and making it very difficult to travel. It's the same air mass that has invaded our area. We've had a 62 degree temperature drop since our high of 78 yesterday afternoon to 16 this morning. Just an incredible change behind this Arctic front, and it is going to stay very cold today with cloud and a couple of flurries, then some sun. Our high will struggle to get to 30. I suspect it's just going to stay in the 20s, and the real feel is near zero this morning. We'll only get to the low teens this afternoon. Tonight, mainly clear, breezy, very cold, our low 19. Sunshine tomorrow, a cold breeze, our high only 35. Partly sunny, not quite so cold Wednesday, the high 43. New Year's Day, brisk and colder with sun followed by increasing clouds, the high 34. We stay dry and mostly cloudy on Friday with a high in the low 40s. Right now it's 16 at St. Peter's and in Florissant, cloudy, 17 downtown at the Arch. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Thank you, Joe. It is 6:43. New York's New Year's Eve ball drop will celebrate our country's 250th birthday.
This New Year's Eve in Times Square will offer even more at midnight. It's the combined kickoff to America 250. Rosie Rios is the chair of the organization.
The ball is going to glow red, white, and blue right after the countdown. For the first time ever, there will be a second wave of confetti. It will all end with America the Beautiful.
In celebration of the start of America's 250th anniversary and a year of getting all Americans to participate in the largest year of service.
We are making 2026 the largest year of volunteer hours ever aggregated by our country. But we will also have those moments, and those moments are the splashy fireworks, pomp and circumstance, broadcast concerts that everyone's expecting. But again, I'm telling you right now, whatever you're imagining, it's going to be much, more than that.
Julie Walker, New York.
Rock music legend Sammy Hagar's foundation has donated $10,000 to a 12-year-old boy who was injured when a helicopter crashed onto him.
Oliver Holland was one of 5 people who were hospitalized when a helicopter plummeted from the sky and slammed into a pedestrian bridge over the Pacific Coast Highway in Huntington Beach, California in October. He was trapped under the wreckage and left with serious injuries, including a collapsed lung and brain bleed. His sister Madeline Ashwell.
It's been amazing. He's just recovered, like everything is back to normal, like he's just a normal kid.
The family spoke with Hagar on FaceTime.
What are you going to do with all that money? No candy.
The money will be deposited into Oliver's college fund. Christopher Cruz, CBS News.
Hagar founded a nonprofit called the Hagar Family Foundation, which helps children and supports families in need across the country. I would think that Sammy would find a lot of supporters here in St. Louis. That is his town. There is no bigger fan base of Sammy Hagar than right here.
Well, no bigger fan than Mark Cox.
That is true. That is true, but St. Louis was Sammy's home base for a long, long time. The Red Rocker at 645. At some point, the Redbirds are going to come back and be a contender, but for right now, they are building. They are acquiring pitching depth, says Chaim Bloom, their president of baseball operations, and one of them he has picked up is Hunter Dobbins, part of the Wilson Contreras trade. Dobbins tore his ACL covering first base last July, but that ligament is healing, and he looks to be right on target for a return.
He's doing well. He's raring to go. If you ask him, there's not going to be any delay at all. Obviously, we're going to make sure that we check every box because there's no need to rush something like this. You want to put this behind you for good, but he'll have a checkup pretty soon where hopefully he'll get clearance to start throwing off a mound. He certainly has been throwing. If you do some internet sleuthing, you'll be able to find some evidence of that he's posted. But hopefully he gets clearance to start beginning a mound progression. And then he's aiming to come into spring training with no restrictions. Obviously, we're still just getting our arms around everything, understanding him. We'll make sure that we take care of him as he comes back. Again, with the idea that once he's back, you don't want him to never have to think or worry about this again.
I'm Bloom on KMOX's Sports on a Sunday morning. Believe it or not, we're about 6 weeks away from the start of spring training down in Jupiter, Florida. We will have full coverage, as always, here on KMOX. We are also the home of the St. Louis Billikens. And yesterday, the Billikens tuned up against Principia College. This, of course, looked like an easy one on the surface, and they were preparing as such. As a matter of fact, they spent the last 11 or so minutes with Josh Schertz's son, Jaden Schertz, in the game.
Crowd wants Schertz to shoot it. Got it, fumbled, baseline drive, got in deep, high off the window. Yes! Jaden Schertz with a drive.
Jaden is the pass-first point guard. I think he breaks their heart every time he passes it because the crowd wants him to shoot it.
Jaden Schertz and the Billikens, they get the win over Principia College, a Division III team. This was basically a conditioning tune-up for the Billikens, getting ready for their A-10 schedule, and they took care of business, 114-33 over Principia, an 81-point victory, the largest in SLU history. The SLU women also had an easy one over UHSP. The final score was 132-53 yesterday at Chaffetz. Games on the docket today. You have Missouri State at Delaware at 1, Southern University at Illinois at 2, Southern Illinois at Murray State at 6. I'll be there for that Valley matchup, and Illinois State at Drake tonight at 8. In the NFL, we saw the New England Patriots close out the AFC East after the Bills lost to the Eagles. The Patriots, with their 42-10 victory over the Jets, sealed it as well. They are division champions. There are only 2 spots still left in the playoffs. 12 of the 14 are taken. We're waiting on the AFC North. Pittsburgh at Baltimore next week. And in the NFC, it'll be Carolina at Tampa Bay for the NFC South. College football playoff matchups. New Year's Eve, it's Ohio State and Miami in the Cotton Bowl. New Year's Day, the Orange Bowl, Texas Tech and Oregon. The Rose Bowl, Indiana and Alabama. The Sugar Bowl, Georgia and Ole Miss. Those 4 games to determine the national semifinals. I'm Tom Ackerman on the voice of the Cardinals and Billikens, 104.1 FM KMOX.
Overhead Door Company of St. Louis, the genuine, the original, present 100 years of KMOX.
Watching Hurricane Katrina make landfall.
There, when we came together.
We are at the Schnucks at Butler Hill, just off 55. We are collecting donations and goods for Hurricane Katrina victims.
Move-in kits for the folks who were evacuated because of Hurricane Katrina.
There's just a steady stream of cars, people donating entire, baskets full of things.
It's amazing to see this many people. KMOX listener said I had to drop by and give something off.
Detergent and bleach and towels and cleansers.
What it all comes down to is this is a great way for you today to help the victims.
Pretty amazing. In fact, it's kind of choking me up how supportive everyone has been.
There for every headline, every heartbreak, every heartbeat. KMOX, the voice of St. Louis. Brought to you by St. Louis Public Library, St. Louis's original search engine.
This new year, get started on your next success with University of Maryland Global Campus. An accredited state university, UMGC offers online and hybrid classes, along with more than 135 skills-based degrees and certificates in fields like business, cybersecurity, healthcare, and more. Gain the skills you need to achieve your career goals. Apply now and save with no application fee. Classes start January 7th. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
Nominations for the 2026 Women of Achievement are now open. The St. Louis Area Award is the oldest ongoing program in the area whose sole mission is to honor and recognize the volunteer service and volunteer leadership of women. If you know an outstanding volunteer in the St. Louis metropolitan area, or if you are one, Women of Achievement wants to hear from you. Nominations, including self-nominations, may be submitted now through January 11th. Head to KMOX.com for more information.
Debbie Monterey, Megan Lynch, Tom Ackerman. Total Information AM on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
It is 6:51. Let's see how the commute is going on this Monday morning. Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, it looks great, Scott, with one exception. This traffic report's a service of Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning. I'd imagine, unfortunately, they may be getting some calls today, but hopefully you're not one of those folks. But I do have a little trouble on southbound 170. It looks to me like it's a stall south 170 just before 64. It's blocking the left lane. Traffic's backed up pretty close to the Parkway on southbound 170 right now, so be prepared. Again, left lane's blocked. Nobody's with it yet, but their flashes are on. So like I said, it looks to me like it's a stall at that location. That is the only interstate issue we've got out there right now. Like I said, they cleared that crash earlier, North 270 before 44. Everything's back on track for you there. Next update at 6:58 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up. When you're wrapping gifts or pulling a bird out of the oven, you want to hear
perfect.
Unless a plumbing, electrical, or heating problem prompts a
oh, perfect.
Call Jerry Kelly 8 to 8, 8 days a week. We'll be there next day or sooner.
JerryKelly.com.
AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg says the wind advisory technically has expired, but it is very windy out there, much colder than recent days. Clouds, a few flurries giving way to some sun. A high just 30 today. AccuWeather real field temperatures because of this wind near zero this morning, rising into the low teens this afternoon. Tonight, mainly clear, breezy, very cold, low 19. Real feels in the single digits. Let's take a look at the rest of the week. Tomorrow, mostly sunny with a cold breeze and a high of 35. Wednesday, partly sunny, not as cold in the afternoon, a high of 43. Thursday, New Year's Day, brisk and colder, sun followed by increasing clouds and a high of 34. My friends who are going to the Rose Bowl tell me that they are bringing rain gear. They're expecting rain in L.A. A high of 34 here in St. Louis, though. Friday, mostly cloudy and a high of 42 degrees. Currently, it's 16, feels like 5 below downtown at the Arch.
The news continues at 6:53. A bomb cyclone hit the upper Midwest yesterday, causing at least 3 suspected tornadoes in central Illinois. We get more from CBS News meteorologist Rob Marciano.
The storm's powerful cold front smashing into spring-like temperatures near 70 degrees, triggering tornadoes in central Illinois.
one of them carving a path of destruction near Mount Zion, damaging at least a dozen homes and tearing off several roofs, leaving Lieutenant Scott Flannery stunned by the destruction.
To actually get on scene thinking it's going to be just some power lines that are down, and turn out that we have people that are losing their homes tonight.
With the thermometer reaching 78 degrees in St. Louis Lambert International Airport yesterday afternoon, the National Weather Service says we've achieved the warmest December temperature on record at that measuring station. So not only breaking a daily record, but also setting one for an entire month. The old December record of 76 degrees was set 3 times in 1948, 1970, and 2021.
Taiwan's military forces are on high alert in response to China launching large-scale military ops around the island. Beijing says its air and sea forces are practicing a blockade of Taiwan's key ports. Taipei says China's war games are a challenge to international law. Correspondent Stephen McDonnell says in Beijing with the BBC, a CBS broadcast partner, tells us China is sending a political message to Taiwan and its allies.
The Chinese government wants people in Taiwan and the rest of the world to believe that this is inevitable in the long run, that one of these days Taiwan will be united with the mainland. The problem is that the vast majority of people in Taiwan have shown in opinion poll after opinion poll, in election after election, they don't want to be part of mainland China. They don't want to be ruled by Beijing. They like their democratic elections, their free press, their independent judiciary.
Beijing says any attempt to stop the island's eventual reunification with China would be, according to the Foreign Ministry, doomed to fail.
Public libraries across the state will, as of January 1st, stock and administer opioid overdose reversal agents. WBBM's Ian Coleman.
The Illinois Department of Public Health has issued an updated standing order which adds Illinois public libraries to the list of locations permitted to keep a supply of opioid overdose reversal agents on hand. The order also authorizes trained staff to administer them in the event of a suspected overdose. The revised standing order makes it easier for libraries to comply with the new provisions of the state's Local Library Act, which takes effect January 1st. The order builds on the previous order from IDPH from last year, which allowed schools to maintain a supply of reversal agents to counteract an opioid overdose. Jan Coleman, 105.9 WBBM.
I heard it's somebody's birthday.
Birthday excitement.
It's your birthday.
Today's birthday shout-out sponsored by Renner Garage Door, RENNER, forward and back, family-owned and top-rated, RennerDoorSTL.com. Some actor birthdays today. Jon Voight is 87, Ted Danson 78, Patricia Clarkson 66, and Jude Law is 53.
Happy birthday to Maggie Crane, our great friend. Also, happy birthday to Sharon Gherkin. A happy birthday to Julie Dietz from yesterday's Kids. Bob Hoff from Lebanon, Illinois. Stell Reichert of O'Fallon, Illinois from yesterday's Kids. Happy birthday, Stephen Fitzpatrick Smith of the Royale. And to Sharon Gherkin of the IWA community, you get another happy birthday love there. They love you. And happy birthday to Denny Wisman from your friends at Winchell. Missy Ryan, happy birthday from old friends. It's 6:57.
Best birthday ever.
This is Todd Krenz with Krenz Financial Group. For over 6 decades, we've helped St. Louis families and businesses plan with purpose and live with confidence. We work closely with professionals in healthcare, from doctors and nurses to medical sales and biotech and pharma. Our team helps you navigate complex financial decisions like retirement plans, disability insurance, consolidating old 401ks, and understanding stock options or RSUs. We make the process clear so you can focus on what you do best. Your goals, our mission. Start today at kfgadvisors.com.
Securities offered through Raymond James Financial Servicing. Member FINRA/SIPC. Prince Financial Group is not a broker-dealer.
This is Corey from Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation. There's never a good time for your heating system to stop working. If yours does, no matter what time or day, Air Comfort Service offers 24/7 emergency HVAC service. Contact our award-winning team for 5-star heating service and stay in your comfort zone. For heating and 24/7 emergency service, contact Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation at aircomfortservice.com. That's aircomfortservice.com.
St. Louis City SC is teaming up again with Enterprise to salute the people who make our city shine bright. The Exceptional Neighbor program presented by Enterprise is back, and now you can help us find the class of 2026. Nominate your friend, coworker, or anyone who's going above and beyond for the STL region, and they could be featured on the pitch during halftime. Go to stlcitysc.com/exceptional neighbor now through January 9th and tell us who you think deserves to be an exceptional neighbor. Presented by Enterprise.
I dared Archwell Health to keep track of my vitals and my grandkids' names.
I dared Archwell Health to simplify my prescriptions, so Max and I have more time to play. Good boy.
And I dared Archwell Health to be closer than my neighborhood coffee shop.
Our members dared us to do more as a primary care provider for adults age 60 and up. So we made it our mission. Visit archwellhealth.com and become a member today. Archwell Health. We dare to care.
Hey guys, Kevin Wheeler here to tell you about 213 Complex, which is available at Supplement Superstores. Look, it's the time of year to make things happen with health goals. 213 Complex will do for you what it does for me. Gets the metabolism rocking and rolling 24 hours a day, helps you fight cravings, gives you all-day focused energy with no crash that comes at the end of the day either. It's been a big help for me. It will help you. So get out to Supplement Superstores. Tell them Kevin Wheeler sent you in. They'll knock 30% off your 213 Complex. To get started down your path and find your location, just go to supplementsuperstores.com.
Celebrating 100 years and wishing you the best of the holiday season. KMOX AM St. Louis, KMOX FM Hazelwood, the voice of St. Louis.
This is the CBS World News Roundup Late Edition, sponsored by CVS Health.
I'm Christopher Cruz. A bomb cyclone has brought blizzard conditions to the upper Midwest, causing dozens of accidents. Watching it all, CBS News meteorologist Rob Marciano.
Across the upper Midwest, up to a foot of fresh snow and winds howling at 60 miles an hour, creating treacherous travel from North Dakota to Iowa.
Lots of spinouts. We just passed an accident over here. It's slippery.
Minnesota State Patrol says more than 300 cars slid off roads and highways in Sunday's blizzard. Multiple accidents on Interstate 35, prompting transportation officials to shut down a 140-mile-long stretch overnight from central Iowa to southern Minnesota.
And flyers using airports in the upper Midwest will likely find things a bit challenging today. CBS's Chanel Call is at Newark Liberty Airport in New Jersey.
We're talking about Milwaukee and Minneapolis. If you're flying in or out of airports there, you may still see some delays because of lingering effects from this weekend's storm. Further east, high winds around the Great Lakes, all the way from Detroit to Buffalo. They could also bring some trouble.
And speaking of trouble, parts of the Northeast will get heavy snow, rain, and ice along with high winds today. And in the South, sweltering under record high temperatures yesterday, expect a sudden plunge in temperatures. With Phase 1 of the Gaza ceasefire holding, if fragile, is it time to move to the next step? That's the question that will be on the table when President Trump and Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu meet today.
The meeting, which will take place at President Trump's Mar-a-Lago estate, will focus on implementing the second phase of the Gaza ceasefire deal. It involves setting up a Palestinian government that does not include Hamas, as well as an international stabilization force. President Trump has previously stated he hopes to make announcements about the Gaza ceasefire in January. The meeting in Florida comes despite the president's recent frustrations over Israel's alleged ceasefire violations and the fact that the U.S. was not notified in advance. Linda Kenyon, CBS News, Washington.
President Trump says Ukraine and Russia are, closer than ever before to a peace deal, but he admits negotiations could still break down, and that would leave the war dragging on for years. He spoke Sunday after he met with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky.
They have been very brave. They fought very hard and continue to fight very hard and do tremendous damage. But Russia would like to see it end, and Ukraine would like to see it. I think it's time to end.
Trump and Zelensky acknowledged major issues remain, including whether Russia can keep the Ukrainian territory it's captured. Dow futures, all stock futures, in fact, down across the board. This is CBS News.
Through trusted relationships and national reach, CVS Health is uniquely positioned to simplify care. Learn more at cvshealth.com/investorday.
CVS Health supports people in the moments that matter, from picking up a prescription to connecting care. With nearly 5 million daily interactions and serving 185 million consumers and 1.5 million healthcare professionals, CVS Health holds a trusted place in healthcare. By simplifying care and improving health, we're helping people get the care they need. Learn more at cvshealth.com/Investor Day.
I know that hiring can be challenging. You need someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now you can meet them fast on ZipRecruiter.
Build your team, build it sooner. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter.
Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try it for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
At 7:04, partly cloudy skies. It's 17 degrees downtown at the Gateway Arch. Today is Monday, December 29th. Good morning. I'm Scott Jagow.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. St. Louis City Police say the person barricaded inside a car at Natural Bridge in Union surrendered and was taken into custody just after 5 Sunday afternoon. Law enforcement had that area closed to traffic for a couple of hours. The St. Louis Police Department SWAT team and St. Louis County Police worked together to de-escalate the situation. We're told the man was wanted for a fatal stabbing earlier in the day. That happened on Jenny Drive in North St. Louis County.
The City Board of Aldermen is filing litigation, arguing they need to be involved in selecting the interim sheriff ahead of a potential March 3rd special election. Aldermanic President Megan Green says it's not about the position, but rather precedent. She says historically the board has always been involved.
What we had been trying to do for many months is to work collaboratively with the mayor's office to develop a process that we could all agree upon for appointing the sheriff. And unfortunately, we weren't able to get there with the mayor's office.
Mayor Kara Spencer says she believes her lawsuit without the board is the result of collaboration. She says it doesn't matter to her who the courts let decide to have the authority to name the interim sheriff. Green says the board has not yet discussed replacements and has no opinion on current interim sheriff John Hayden.
Doctors and medical staff in Missouri could be charged with first-degree murder if they allow a baby that survived an abortion to die.
The Born Alive Abortion Survivors Act would also allow lawsuits to be filed against doctors for failing to take life-saving measures for any child that survives being aborted. It's sponsored by Republican State Senator Brad Hudson of Southwest Missouri's Stone County.
I've got concerns with regard to the devaluing of innocent human life. And as a pro-life legislator, it is my desire to do everything that I can to make sure that we have in statute the language necessary to protect innocent life.
A similar bill passed the Missouri House last session, but did not make it out of the Senate. Under 2024's Amendment 3, abortions in Missouri are only legal up to fetal viability. The only exceptions being medical emergencies where the mother's life is in danger. Stuart McMillan, KMOX News.
A group dedicated to protecting police dogs is gifting an Illinois State Police canine a special vest. The story from WBBM's Mai Martinez.
Illinois State Police say within the next 10 weeks, Canine Zeus will receive a custom-fitted bullet and stab protective vest, courtesy of Vested Interest in Canines Incorporated. The nonprofit provides the vest to law enforcement dogs across the U.S. So far, canines in all 50 states have received more than 6,200 vests valued at nearly $7 million. The vests are paid for by private and corporate donations.
It's the time of year when we look back and reflect on what stories move the needle. Locally, KMOX Republican analyst John Hancock says the election of St. Louis Mayor Kara Spencer was the top story of 2025.
Really putting an end to what had been a pretty successful series of progressive Democrats getting elected to public office. You look at Kim Gardner, you look at Cori Bush, you look at Tashara Jones, and they're all gone.
Democratic analyst Michael Kelly says on his radar the potential of St. Louis County going into bankruptcy within 2 years.
When you take the most important, most stable county in the state of Missouri, the most populous county, which is St. Louis County, and it's in danger of going in bankruptcy in 2 years, I think that's a huge symptom of a major problem for the St. Louis area.
The Business Desk is sponsored by Krentz Financial Group, KFGadvisors.com. You take your big family out to an expensive steakhouse for the holidays, you run up a bill of $500. That's a profitable tab for the restaurant, right? Well, maybe not. CBS News reporter Christopher Cruz says as the cost of meat and labor grow, restaurants are making little money.
A high-end steakhouse in Chicago would make just $25 profit on that $500 meal. The Wall Street Journal says the restaurant's cost for that meal for food and alcohol will total $190, labor $175, and $110 on rent. What's left? $25. The restaurant is paying 40% more for steaks this year than last. One reason? Cattle herds are the smallest they've been since the 1950s. Christopher Cruz, CBS News.
7:08 traffic and weather next.
Hey guys, Glover here with my very good friend John Moriarty from E3 Wealth. John and I go back years and years and years. John, it's great to have you back in the DGS fold. Tell everyone who's unfamiliar with E3 Wealth what you guys are all about.
Thanks, Dave. So happy to be back. E3, the 3 E's stand for Educate, Empower, Enlighten. We founded the firm, and sometimes refer to it as E3 Consultants Group, because we want to proactively challenge the status quo as to how Americans are educated about money and finance-related decisions. It's a lot. So really what we try to do for our clients is help them think differently about money. And recently we've been doing a ton of things with business owners because we see that as an area where we can provide tremendous growth for them because we can help them build wealth through their business and also reduce their income tax liabilities. And when you can do that for a business owner, it makes a huge difference in their life.
It's kind of one-stop shopping for all finances, personal and business.
Absolutely. Yes, that's our focus. That's what we're attempting to do with our new book that's coming out called The Entrepreneur Playbook. We're going to be able to help a lot of people understand strategies, ideas on how to build their wealth and also protect it.
So John is a total pro, completely vouch for him as a person. Love this guy. No pressure, no hard sales. You want to learn more about your finances, personal and business. Reach out to John at e3wealth.com.
Neil Forever performs Neil Diamond live in concert at the Factory in Chesterfield on Friday, January 9th.
It's fantastic.
Friday, January 9th, Neil Forever performing all the hits of Neil Diamond at the Factory.
He is a great performer.
He's amazing.
Sounds just like Neil.
Rock and roll, get on board. Tickets at Ticketmaster.com.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts.
It is 7:11. Roger Brand is in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, if you're heading out the door right now, things look great out there for you this morning. I'm not seeing any issues. The one issue we did have, they just cleared about 2 minutes ago, Scott, and that was that stall we had southbound 170 before 64. South 170 is now back open. That left lane was the one that was blocked. Just a little busy through there. I don't know, thin out in the next 3 to 5 minutes, I would think. Otherwise, like I said, interstates have been lightly occupied all morning long. There are no other issues on the highways right now to slow you down. We do have that overturned box truck blocking at least part of Old Highway M at Glenstone Drive down in Imperial. They're still dealing with that, so there's going to be restrictions there, I'm sure, for a little while. Next update at 7:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
KMOX AccuWeather, very windy and much colder today than recent days. Cloud and a few flurries followed by some sun. Our high only 30, but AccuWeather real field temperatures near zero this morning, rising into the low teens this afternoon. Tonight will turn out mainly clear, breezy, and very cold, low 19. Real feel single digits. Tomorrow mostly sunny, a cold breeze, high 35. Wednesday partly sunny, the high 43. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Very cold out there, especially with the wind that is whipping through St. Louis. It's 16 degrees, feels like 5 below downtown at the Arch.
It is 7:12. The Carlinville, Illinois chapter of the National Sleep in Heavenly Peace organization is hoping a holiday Grinch won't spoil their work ahead of 2026. Chapter co-president Josh Carndiff tells KMOX burglars stole tools from locked storage bins on Christmas Eve.
They got, all of our drills and impacts, our sanders. They even took our miter saw with the miter saw cart and took everything as little as a rubber mallet.
The Sleep in Heavenly Peace charity builds beds for kids in need and has 30 applications pending for the coming year. Cardiff says through social media, they've been accepting donations to replace the tools and that the response has been very good. Visit the hsp.org website and type in Illinois-Carlinville to find out contact info or just search for their Facebook page.
As the weather takes a colder turn, the city of St. Louis activated its emergency shelter plan through Tuesday morning. There are 290 emergency shelter beds available in addition to the 400 year-round beds. Walk-ups are welcome nightly from 6 until 9. After that, call 211 and make arrangements. There are emergency shelters in the north, central, and south city areas. There are also rally point locations in the three regions, where transportation to shelters is provided from 5 until 7 each night.
Since the Chiefs are leaving Missouri by 2031, the state will miss out on hundreds of millions in tax revenue collected as a result of the Chiefs being in Missouri. Missouri Net asked the governor if his plans have changed to phase out the state's income tax because of losing this revenue.
I mean, Missourians that lose their jobs because this move happens will be able to find another job, I'm quite confident, in Kansas City, Missouri, and keep their state tax. It does not change the plans for us to roll that out.
But House Democratic leader Ashley Awney of Kansas City says with no income tax, the tax credits at the center of Missouri's proposal to the Chiefs would largely become worthless.
The rapid change from warm to cold brought an outbreak of severe weather in outstate Illinois. We are hearing reports of structural damage from Mount Zion, southeast of Decatur. Possible tornado that hit Macon County yesterday afternoon, and earlier in the day, parts of Tazewell County were hit with strong winds.
Some new Missouri laws go into effect Thursday. The good news for many workers, the minimum wage goes up from $13.75 to $15 an hour. The bad news, lawmakers already repealed annual minimum wage increases. Another new law allows taxpayers to subtract certain income types from their Missouri taxable income. Price of certain beers could go down a little. American-made beer produced by U.S. breweries will be charged a lower fee per barrel. And Missouri schools will now implement a statewide Stop the Bleed protocol. It's aimed at training teachers and staff to respond to severe injuries and medical emergencies.
Heck of a football game last night between the 49ers and the Bears. Came down to the last second, and it went to San Francisco as Caleb Williams drove the Bears down the field, and in the closing seconds had one last shot for the win, but Bryce Huff forced him out of the pocket, popped him in the chest as he threw it, and short hopped to Jade Walker in the end zone to seal a sixth straight victory for the 49ers, 42-38 over the Bears in a great football game. Brock Purdy threw a 38-yard touchdown pass to Juwan Jennings with 2:15 to play. That was the winning score. San Francisco can secure the top seed in the NFC by beating Seattle on Saturday night. The Patriots became the fourth team to clinch a division title. The Browns kept the Ravens alive, and the 49ers moved closer to that number one seed. Plenty left to be settled before the NFL's playoff schedule is set. 12 of the 14 playoff berths have been secured, and 4 teams are battling for the final 2 spots. Pittsburgh will play Baltimore in Pittsburgh for the AFC North title next weekend, and Carolina will visit Tampa Bay for the NFC South. Both number one seeds are up for grabs. New England routed the Jets 42-10, clinching the AFC East when the Bills lost to the Eagles. The Patriots, what a turnaround, worst to first under first-year coach Mike Vrabel. College basketball yesterday, the St. Louis men and women both won on the Billiken floor at Chaifetz Arena. The men took on Division III Principia College, a little tune-up before their A-10 schedule, and they won 114-33, largest margin of victory in SLU history, 81 points. The women won as well. They beat UHSP by a final of 132-53. On the schedule today, it'll be number 20 Illinois hosting Southern University. That one tips off at 2 o'clock in Champaign. Missouri State visits Delaware at 1. Southern Illinois at Murray State at 6. Illinois State at Drake at 8. As for baseball, Cardinals president of baseball operations, Chaim Bloom, was on with us, Sports on a Sunday Morning, And I noted to him that all of these Red Sox deals that they've been making, Steven Matz, Sonny Gray, Wilson Contreras, not to mention Dustin May signed as a free agent. His last team was the Red Sox. Former Red Sox executive Bloom.
Yeah, I figured, obviously, we kind of joking as we were doing this deal, I'm probably going to get asked about that. I actually think you're bearing the lead, that we're really, the story people aren't talking about is that we're well on our way to leading the league in redheads. I think that's the real story there. But no, in all seriousness, obviously there's a number of, certainly I feel them, obviously, having worked there and it being my last organization. But, it really just came down to they're both moves that we thought were helpful. When it came to moving those two guys, we felt that in each of those deals that they were offering the best return. And that's all it ever should be about. And obviously we are talking to everybody. I guess until I make a trade with somebody who's not the Red Sox, it's just words, but it really is just all about what's best for the organization and where can we find that best return no matter where it comes from.
There are some reports that the Red Sox are interested in Brendan Donovan, so we may hear this all over again. We'll see. I'm Tom Ackerman on the voice of the Cardinals and the Billikens, 104.1 FM KMOX.
Overhead Door Company of St. Louis, the genuine, the original, present 100 years of KMOX.
3-2 delivery. On its way.
There, when he became a hometown hero.
Swinging a high drive to center field. Get up, baby. Get up, baby. Get up. Oh, yeah. David Freese has just sent us into game number 7. This series is tied 3-3 with a walk-off home run here in the bottom of the 11th inning.
This team deserves this, and this organization is top-notch, and these fans are unbelievable, and they are the best fans in baseball. This is definitely a dream come true.
There for every headline, every heartbreak, every heartbeat. KMOX, the voice of St. Louis. Brought to you by the Polar Express at St. Louis Union Station. Get your tickets now at stlpolarexpressride.com.
'Tis the season, and Quick Trip is turning your phone into the gift that keeps on giving, and giving, and giving. With QT's Holidays. From now till the end of the season, when you open the QT app, you'll automatically get one free gift per day. We're talking classic QT treats like coffee, pizza, or donuts, ready to make your taste buds sing carols of joy. Plus, exclusive deals from your favorite brands. With a new surprise waiting for you every day, your phone will be stuffed with more treats than your stocking. QT's Holidays. Open the QT app for your daily gift.
Hey, St. Louis City SC fans, mark your calendars now. The Boys in Red return to Energizer Park to kick off Season 4 Saturday, February 21st. And you could be there for the dawn of a new golden era of St. Louis soccer. Go to stlcitysc.com/tickets and reserve your seat now for the MLS home opener versus Charlotte FC. Limited quantities remain. See you soon, St. Louis.
Your morning news and information. Total Information AM.
It is 7:21, and we're going to check on the roads right now with Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, the interstates continue to cruise along, Scott. We've had a couple of stalls pop up here and there, not blocking anything. South 270 at the exit to Big Bend and South 270 near 44, the most recent ones. But again, they're off to the side, and traffic's getting through okay. Light traffic on these interstates on both sides of the river. Old Highway M at Glenstone, we have an overturned box truck down in Imperial. There are restrictions on M there because of it. And it looks like we have some backed up traffic. I'm not sure if it's signal problems or not, but both directions of 158 at the entrance to Scott Air Force Base at Seibert there. We have a backup northbound is worse than southbound at that location right now. Next update at 7:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg says it's going to be cold with this wind. It's going to be colder. Temperatures feeling like we're near zero this morning, rising into the low teens this afternoon. A high of just 30 today. Clear, breezy, very cold tonight, low 19. Real feels in the single digits. Tomorrow, mostly sunny with a cold breeze and a high of 35 degrees. Currently, it's 16, feels like -5 downtown at the Arch.
Now it's time for the last three good things of 2025.
1, 2, 3. Tell me something good.
The new year is almost here. We'll raise a glass and cheer And then we'll sing a song that makes absolutely no sense.
What does this song mean? My whole life, I don't know what this song means. I mean, should old acquaintance be forgotten? Does that mean that we should forget old acquaintances? It doesn't mean that if we happen to forget them, we should remember them, which is not possible because we already forgot them.
Harry, I'm here to help. The lyrics to Auld Lang Syne are definitely enigmatic, especially if you're not a Scot from the 1700s. The Scottish national poet Robert Burns gets credit for the song, although he didn't take credit in 1788. At the time, 29 years old, he said he wrote it down from an old man, which in hindsight may explain a few things. The title translates roughly to Old Long Since, or Times Long Past. Not long after it was published, the Scottish people began singing it on New Year's Eve. By 1818, Beethoven got wind of it and wrote an arrangement, and it spread far and wide from there. Here are some fun facts from John Green, the author of The Fault in Our Stars, one of the best-selling books of all time.
Today, Auld Lang Syne is often played at Japanese department stores just before they close. Between 1945 and 1948, the tune was used in South Korea's national anthem. In the Netherlands, its melody inspired one of the country's most famous football chants. And it's a staple of film soundtracks, from Charlie Chaplin's 1925 movie The Gold Rush to It's a Wonderful Life in 1946 to Minions in 2015.
But why does Hollywood love this song so much? Why is it our anthem for the new year? Green believes it's because Auld Lang Syne is wistful, but also genuine. For me, it evokes a bittersweet longing. A song about old friends drinking together and talking about other old friends who are either gone, far away, or just a part of the past. It's a satisfying combination of good cheer, memories, and even a few tears. What has been, what could have been, what might be. Now, about those lyrics, let's bring in a special guest to interpret them. He'll first read a verse in the original Old Scots language, then he'll translate it. Scottish author Kenny Boyle.
We twa have run about the braes and put the gowans fine, but we've wandered mony a weary fit sin Auld Lang Syne. We too have run around the hills and pulled the daisies fine, but we've wandered many a weary foot since the times long ago. So there's a hand, my trusty fear, and gie's a hand of thine, we'll tak a right good willie walked for Auld Lang Syne. So here's my hand, my trusted friend, and give me a hand of yours. We will have a good will drink for old time's sake.
Comforting, isn't it? That's why people around the world play it at funerals and at moments of uncertainty or transition, like the handover of Hong Kong from Britain to China in 1997.
A slow march into a new order, joining in the theme of Auld Lang Syne, as these men march away from their final Hong Kong posting.
The song is so beloved around the world. In 2009, a University of Glasgow chorus set a world record by singing it in 41 languages at the same time. And the tune is just so recognizable and adaptable. In 1916, British soldiers were hunkered down in their trenches, beaten down by a world war that had no meaning to them, shell-shocked by poisoned gases and the deaths of millions. There in their foxholes, they sang together, a song of repetition, of hope, perhaps. We're here because we're here, because we're here, because we're here. I'm going to let author John Green take us out. Happy New Year, old friend.
Sing it with me, wherever you are. Think of those across the broad and roaring seas, and sing with me. We're here because we're here, because we're here, because we're here. We're here because we're here, because we're here, because we're here.
Should old acquaintance be forgot and never brought to mind?
It's 7:28. Time check sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
Hey, the Missouri Athletic Club, I'm pretty sure they'll be partying for New Year's. A great place to have a party. The Missouri Athletic Club in downtown St. Louis, 405 Washington Avenue. What's that you say? Oh, yeah, there's a second location. In Town and Country, thanks for reminding me, 1777 DePere Road. What? There's a third one. The MAC Clayton. That is going to be a party spot. Now, it doesn't open until the spring, but MAC Clayton is just getting its finishing touches. It is the old St. Louis Club, which is above the Pierre Laclede Center. And that top floor, they're actually going to have two floors there. One of them will be an athletic facility, and the other will be that spectacular dining room with the sweeping views of Clayton, and you can see very clearly downtown St. Louis from up there, the MAC Clayton. It is going to be awesome. The Missouri Athletic Club, details at mac-stl.org.
At Audion Hearing, our mission is simple: to make better hearing affordable for everyone. We're proud to offer high-quality, rechargeable hearing aids starting at just $98. Clear, comfortable, and ready to use right out of the box. And here's a study worth hearing. Research shows that wearing hearing aids can reduce your risk of dementia by up to 61%. Join over 1 million happy customers and hear the difference today by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
Hey, this is Charlie Brennan. Have you noticed loose bricks or missing mortar around your house, on the walls, the patios, the walkways, the porch, or the chimneys? If so, you need to call Morelli Tuck Pointing. 314-645-1387. You might need one of two things: solid tuck pointing, the removal of old mortar with the replacement of new mortar throughout an entire wall or chimney, or maybe just spot tuck pointing. Spot tuck pointing involves the tuck pointing of a particular wall, a chimney, or other masonry surface in an area where it's needed the most. One example might be settlement cracks, usually found above or below windows or doorways. 314-645-1387. Call the company that the Brennans have called when we've needed tuck pointing. Morelli Tuck Pointing, the masonry specialists. Winner of the Angie's List Super Service Award every year since 2005. 314-645-1387, MorelliTuckPointing.com.
At 7:31, it's chilly and windy this morning, 17 degrees downtown at the Gateway Arch. Good morning. I'm Scott Jagow.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, hitting the roadways this morning, it's another easygoing, light holiday week of traffic, I think. At least it has been so far this morning. Things look good around the area. I do see a little bit of a slowdown right now on eastbound 44 from Park up to the Poplars, so there may be an incident there. Most likely a stall the way things have been going today. They've been popping up all over the place, but none of them blocking for very long. Otherwise, interstate-wise, we are in good shape. That's the only delays we have on the highways. We do have that one crash on Old Highway M at Glenstone Drive. That's an overturned box truck down in Imperial. Expect restrictions there. And I'm still seeing a backup in both directions, northbound more so than southbound, on 158 at Seibert at the Scott Air Force Base entrance over in Shiloh. Next update at 7:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
It is windy and much colder than recent days. A few flurries might give way to some sun this afternoon. You can see a little bit this morning. High only 30, but the temperature's feeling more like 0 this morning, rising into the low teens this afternoon, the real feels. Tonight, low 19, then tomorrow, mostly sunny, 35. Wednesday, New Year's Eve, high of 43. And then for New Year's Day, brisk and temperatures around 34 degrees. St. Peter's at 16, 17 in Florissant, 17 downtown at the Arch.
It's 7:32. 18 vehicles broken into and 1 stolen. That was the unwelcome Christmas surprise for residents at the Rockwood Springs Apartments in Wildwood.
St. Louis County Police say the thefts happened between 2 and 3 a.m. on Christmas morning. But residents are telling Fox 2 News that the real headache came from management of the apartment complex. One tenant says the complex sent an email claiming the crimes didn't even happen on the property. Rob Anderson owns Maximum Auto Vision. He spent his holiday cleaning up the mess.
We definitely got a call from tenants on this property that they did have break-ins. So she wasn't the only customer. We had other inquiries with our company. So yeah, we just want to get them all taken care of.
What about the car that was stolen? Police spotted it and gave chase through Wildwood, but the suspects got away. No arrests have been made thus far. Stuart McMillan, KMOX News.
One of Illinois' biggest home insurers is raising its rates significantly next year.
Allstate says severe weather events in Illinois and higher repair costs are behind huge increases in homeowners insurance rates. On average, Allstate customers are going to see hikes of nearly 9% next year. The nonprofit Public Interest Research Group notes Allstate made nearly $4 billion in profit in the third quarter of this year. On average, Illinois' homeowner insurance rates have gone up 50% between 2021 and 2024. Allstate has more than 200,000 homeowners policies in Illinois. Cisco Cotto, News Radio 105.9 WBBM.
It's 7:34. Your Money Minute is next, and the news is sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com.
Taking care of your health should be simple, and with the Neovitin monthly subscription, it finally is. Choose your doctor-formulated multivitamin, and we'll deliver it straight to your door every month. No more running out, no more remembering to reorder, just consistent nutrition made easy. Plus, subscribers save 10% every month and can pause or cancel at any time. Visit neovitin.com and start your subscription today. Neovitin, trusted nutrition every day.
At Straight Talk, we get it. You say no a lot.
Mom, can I get a tarantula?
No.
Coffee?
No. So we're giving you more reasons to say yes, like a free 5G phone with real unlimited data with select plan activation.
Can I use the free phone?
Yes. See, doesn't it feel good to say yes to more?
Absolutely. Face tattoo?
Absolutely not. Available at straighttalk.com and Walmart. Taxes and fees apply. In-store activation of Gold Unlimited plan or higher required. For network management practices, visit straighttalk.com.
Oh, how's that flu, babe? Did you take DayQuil Intense Flu yet?
Nah, I got this. Ugh, okay, I don't got this.
You stay on the couch, and I'll grab the DayQuil.
Undo your flu symptoms with DayQuil Intense Flu. DayQuil Intense Flu provides powerful relief of your flu symptoms. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. Should laws against business price fixing be applied when it's AI doing it? Firms across industries, including housing, hotels, healthcare, and equipment rental that use AI-powered pricing tools, are facing a growing litigation risk. Private plaintiffs have filed dozens of algorithmic price-fixing cases against companies this year, alleging that businesses within the same industry using the same price-setting software is anti-competitive. And federal and state enforcers are expected to increase targeting of firms that collude via algorithm and drive up the cost of living. One of the big economic stories of 2025, and sure to be big again in 2026, is the nation's labor market, characterized by low rates of both hiring and firing, as people looking for jobs have a tough time landing one, and people with jobs hold on to them. This week we get the final word on jobs for the year, Wednesday's weekly tally of new unemployment applications, forecast to reflect holiday volatility. Andrew O'Day, Bloomberg Radio.
The Bloomberg Money Minute, sponsored by Busey Bank.
This is the Let's Revitalize Our Neighborhoods commitment. This is the Roll Up Our Sleeves and Pitch In commitment. This is Busey, where our commitment to strengthen our communities is a top priority. Through energetic, engaged volunteers, through monetary support, community leadership, and advocacy. Because Busey is more than a bank that does well, we're a bank that does good. Busey Bank, building business, growing wealth, since 1868. Member FDIC.
Reel in the big one at the best fishing expo in the Midwest, the Let's Go Fishing Show on January 2nd through 4th at Gateway Convention Center in Collinsville. Visit vendors with the latest fishing boats, rods, reels, tackle, accessories, resorts, and guided services. Shop unique one-of-a-kind items and top-of-the-line marine electronics at discount prices. Attend free seminars. Meet pro anglers, Bassmaster Elite Series Pro, Brandon Palaniuk, Carl Jacobson, and more. Free fishing pond. Win prizes from Canoe Canada and Tri-State Trolling Motors. Visit letsgoshows.com for coupons and more info.
I met my wife in law school at the University of Florida. She was from upstate New York and I was from Kentucky. We met at a daily mass at St. Augustine's. She was the most beautiful girl I'd ever seen in my life. After communion, I followed her out of the church and got her phone number. The rest is history. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Little did we know that one day we would have 4 children and the largest injury firm in the world. All 4 work in the business. It's a family business. Did I ever see this coming? Hell no. We just worked very hard and treated our clients like we would want to be treated, like family. It's a full-service injury firm: auto accidents, medical malpractice, workers' compensation, Social Security, and insurance disputes. We're open 24/7, 365 days a year. Visit forthepeople.com and we can get to work on your case. No recovery, no fee. Morgan & Morgan, for the people. Injured? Dial pound law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
At Graybar, we know your time is money. That's why our services go beyond parts and products. With kitting, pre-assembly, wire carts, and Graybar smart reels that keep you moving. We stage materials and manage logistics so you can spend less time sorting and more time installing. And with locations nationwide, we deliver when and where you need it, working to make your job easier every step of the way. Yep, Graybar does that.
Hey guys, Glover here with my friends Mark and Neil Gelman from the Gelman team of eXp Realty. Selling your home, every situation is unique. Find the best options that are right for you from the real estate team who offer more options. 314-336-1991. Go to thegelmanteam.com.
Retiring soon? Get the information you need by joining Kyle Jones and Matt Allgeier of Fira Capital Management for Your Retirement Highway, Sunday mornings at 9:30. Investment advisory services made available through Pine Ridge Advisors, LLC, a registered investment advisor. Securities made available through AE Financial Services, LLC, member FINRA and SIPC.
Get ready for Monday Night Football as the Rams face the Falcons.
Saipan Cancer Center game time, 6 p.m. Saipan Cancer Center, national leaders in cancer.
The Rams, the Falcons, on America's Sports Voice, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
As always, we have a lot of great viewers and comments on Facebook, X, and YouTube. Kevin McAllister, a longtime viewer of ours and listener of ours, we appreciate him, said, "Bring back the Lord's Prayer. Why'd you stop? Only played it for 100 years. Still have the Week in Religion segment." And that is true. We appreciate Fred Bottomer's Week in Religion segment. When we switched to FM, we did tweak the format a bit to get more local news in. That was a focus of ours, was to get more local news blocks, longer news blocks. And unfortunately, for those who listen to the Lord's Prayer every day, we had to move some things around, and that is now a local news block. But we appreciate the comment. We always take that into consideration, and we appreciate you, Kevin. It's 7:40.
Let's get an update on the roads this Monday morning. Roger Brands in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
It looks like they cleared that crash downtown, Scott. It was eastbound 44 right before the Poplar Street Bridge. It was on the shoulder, but the slowdown we had there is gone. I do see flashing lights now at the old cathedral there at the, I guess that'd be Walnut right there downtown. So it looks like maybe they cleared the crash off at that point. Still seeing a backup just northbound now, really, but it's backed up almost midway back to 161. We're talking about northbound 158 going up to Seibert at the end of the Scott Air Force Base, still bumper to bumper. And they still have restrictions on Old Highway M at Glenstone, where we have that overturned box truck. Next update at 7:50 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Sponsored by Gloria Lou with your home sold guaranteed realty, 314-325-6888.
Need to sell your home and you want the most money? The name to remember is Gloria Lou. Yes, Gloria Lou with your home sold guaranteed realty at 314-325-6888 and start packing.
Well, AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg, when you look outside, it looks nice, but I'll tell you, don't be fooled. Get that coat ready. It is freezing out there.
Yeah, if you've not stepped outside, you don't realize just how dramatic the change has been over the past 24 hours. 78 the high yesterday, smashed a record for the date, and then since then it's been in free fall mode, and we're down to 16 right now. It is going to be a very windy, cold day today, with clouds and a flurry giving way to some sunshine. Our high only 30. AccuWeather real field temperatures near zero right now. They're going to be in the low teens this afternoon. Clear, breezy, very cold tonight, lows in the upper teens. More sunshine tomorrow, a cold breeze. It'll look nice, but it is going to be cold again, the high 35. A mix of sun and clouds on Wednesday, the high 43. New Year's Day, we start with some sun, then clouds increase. Our high 34, mostly cloudy Friday, but dry, the high 42. Maybe the cold will ease a bit on Saturday. Right now, it's just 15 at St. Peter's and in Florissant. Clouds, some sun, and 17 downtown at the Arch. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It is 7:43. Harry Styles just gave fans a surprise they were not expecting. More than 2 years after his last video, Harry quietly released a new clip for Forever Forever. It's an instrumental he debuted at his final Love on Tour show back in Italy in 2023. The video is basically a love letter to fans, filled with footage of people lining up, dancing, crying, and soaking in that last night together. It ends with Harry telling the crowd the song was written just for them, and a message on the screen says, "We belong together." No promo, no warning, just vibes.
Hollywood has wrapped up a turbulent 2025 with big ticket sales for Avatar, Fire and Ash, and Marty Supreme. As expected, James Cameron's latest trip to Pandora dominated ticket sales over a busy holiday weekend in theaters. It collected an estimated $88 million over the 4-day Christmas to Sunday period, but much of the heat in theaters over the holiday weekend belonged to Marty Supreme. Josh Safdie's 1950s set table tennis drama collected $27.1 million over the 4-day weekend. It's a smash success for the indie studio. Hollywood is ending a rough year with its best Christmas Day box office since before the COVID-19 pandemic.
It's my wedding dress.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
No.
That is Miles Teller setting the bar extremely high for holiday gifts. The actor surprised his wife with a replica of her wedding dress that was destroyed when their Pacific Palisades home burned down in the LA wildfires. Kaylee shared her emotional reaction on TikTok, clearly stunned and in tears as she opened the box. It's a heartfelt, full-circle moment after a devastating loss and proof that sometimes the most meaningful gifts really can't be bought. They're rebuilt.
Time for sports and time for a look at the NFL playoff picture as it stands right now. So there are 2 spots available and 4 teams going for them. Pittsburgh lost to Cleveland yesterday. That opened the door one more time for Baltimore. After the Ravens beat the Packers to stay alive, they watched the Browns beat the Steelers. That sets up a Baltimore at Pittsburgh matchup this coming Sunday night, January 4th, for all the marbles in the AFC North. And the NFC South is still alive. Carolina will visit Tampa Bay for that division title. Those are the final 2 playoff spots to be determined. Yesterday and last night, there were some great football games. Let's start with the 49ers win over the Bears. Came down to the last second. Brock Purdy threw a 38-yard touchdown pass to Juwan Jennings with 2:15 to go. And then the 49ers on the final play forced an incomplete pass. Caleb Williams at the 2 dropped back to pass, but Bryce Huff forced him out of the pocket. His throw short hop Jahdae Walker in the end zone, and it's a 6th straight win for the 49ers, 42-38. The 49ers can secure the top seed in the NFC by beating Seattle on Saturday night. The Patriots are AFC East champions. They became the 4th team to clinch a division title. The Browns kept the Ravens alive, and the 49ers moved closer to that number 1 seed. 12 of the 14 playoff berths have been secured. New England routed the Jets 42-10. That clinched the division title when the Bills lost to the Eagles 13-12. The Patriots, a worst-to-first turnaround under first-year coach Mike Vrabel. College football this week, even higher stakes. On New Year's Eve, it's Ohio State and Miami. It just came out that Ohio State coach Ryan Day is going to call the plays on offense for the Buckeyes as they take on the Hurricanes at the Cotton Bowl in Arlington, Texas. Then a trio of games on New Year's Day. It'll be starting with the Orange Bowl, Texas Tech, and Oregon. Then the Rose Bowl, number 1 Indiana against Alabama. The final game of the day on New Year's Day will be the Sugar Bowl, Georgia and Ole Miss. What a day that is going to be. College basketball, a big schedule today. Let's first talk about yesterday's games. A win for St. Louis University over Principia College. They're playing Principia, a team that is Division III. Keep that in mind. SLU looked at this as a chance to get conditioned after the holidays, get a little tune-up, give Principia, a D3 team, a chance to play in a big arena against a D1 team. Josh Schertz has an appreciation for that, being a longtime D2 coach at Lincoln Memorial. Anyway, SLU beat them by 81 points. 114-33 was the final in that one. On the women's side, it was St. Louis University again with a big win over UHSP. Final was 132-53 for Rebecca Tillett's team. On the men's schedule today, it'll be Missouri State at Delaware at 1 o'clock. Southern University at Illinois at 2. I will be at the Murray State Southern Illinois game at 6 o'clock today, and Murray and Illinois State visits Drake in another big MVC matchup in college basketball. President of Baseball Operations Chaim Bloom on KMOX yesterday.
Yeah, I think Burley's going to get a lot of run there. Obviously, I would expect that there's going to be other people who will factor into that picture.
Talking about first base with the departure of Wilson Contreras to Boston, he said.
As it's still rounding out. But, it's something that he's done before that we have a lot of confidence in him to handle.
Also, notably, and when I asked him about left field, things opening up there, he said, at the moment, with what we have, we think we can fill that spot, but there is a chance that the Cardinals could add. So keep an eye on that. Bloom has told us in the past that he does desire a right-handed bat, maybe somebody who can offer them some versatility. I'm Tom Ackerman on the Voice of the Cardinals, 104.1 FM KMOX.
KMOX, celebrating 100 years. Presented by Purina, your pet, our passion. Now, a KMOX pioneer.
A trailblazer for women in St. Louis broadcasting, Ann Keefe brought intelligence, fairness, and integrity to every story she touched. Joining KMOX at a time when few women held newsroom roles, Keefe quickly earned the trust of listeners with her clear reporting and unwavering professionalism. On At Your Service, her interviews became must-listen moments, thoughtful, tough, and always balanced.
With a television, a video terminal display, and a telephone at his side on the beach, Richard Deal may be setting up a whole new trend in business. Incidentally, that's a pretty good way to cut back on office rent. I'm Ann Keefe.
Ann Keefe opened doors for generations to come and helped build KMOX's reputation as a station committed to accuracy, fairness, and the community it serves. Ann Keefe, a KMOX pioneer.
St. Louis City SC is teaming up again with Enterprise to salute the people who make our city shine bright. The Exceptional Neighbor program presented by Enterprise is back, and now you can help us find the class of 2026. Nominate your friend, coworker, or anyone who's going above and beyond for the STL region, and they could be featured on the pitch during halftime. Go to stlcitysc.com/exceptional neighbor now through January 9th and tell us who you think deserves to be an exceptional neighbor. Presented by Enterprise.
Winter Wonderland, presented by St. Louis County Parks and Recreation at Tillis Park, is now open through January 3rd. Enjoy more than 1 million dazzling lights with holiday characters and festive scenes. Whether you're carrying on a family tradition or starting a new one, you'll never see anything like Winter Wonderland at Tillis Park. Happy holidays from Kirkwood Fence, Tully Tire, Washington University Orthopedics, Restoration One, and Happy Roof. More info at KMOX.com.
Now the news. At 9, The Talk. The Chris and Amy Show on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It is 7:51. Traffic and weather together. Roger Brands in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, everything still looks great on the highways, Scott. Still seeing just a hint of a slowdown southbound 79 at TR Hughes. We had signals on flash there Friday. Not sure if they've been fixed. The only jam we have is northbound 158. Is still backed up north of 161 up to Seibert at the entrance to Scott Air Force Base. Southbound was jammed earlier. It's not now, but still a pretty good-sized jam northbound. Again, they cleared that crash. I heard MoDOT say it's off the highway like I thought. Eastbound 44 at Park, they moved it off at Walnut at the old cathedral there. Next update at 7:58 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg says a cold day today, especially with this wind. We're going to get real feels near 0 this morning, rising into the low teens this afternoon, then back down into the single digits tonight, and tomorrow sunny with a cold breeze and a high of 35. Currently, we have 16, feels like -5 downtown at the Arch.
The news continues at 7:52. The U.S. has announced a $2 billion pledge for UN humanitarian aid.
The funding is a sharp drop from previous years when U.S. contributions reached as high as $17 billion annually. But the Trump administration insists it's a generous amount that will maintain the United States' status as the world's largest humanitarian donor. Critics say the steep cuts have already forced major reductions in aid programs, worsening hunger, displacement, and disease worldwide. Stacey Lynn, CBS News, Washington.
Taiwan's military forces are on high alert in response to China launching large-scale military operations around the island. Beijing says Taiwan is part of China and will eventually be reunited with the mainland. Taipei says China's war games are a challenge to international law. China correspondent Stephen McDonnell in Beijing with the BBC says a record $10 billion arms sale by the U.S. to Taiwan may concern Beijing, which warned today that any attempt to stop the island's eventual reunification with the mainland is, in the foreign ministry's words, doomed to fail.
These huge war games follow the biggest ever supply of weapons from the US to Taiwan a couple of weeks ago. And before that, Japan's Prime Minister saying that if mainland China ever moved to take Taiwan by force, she wouldn't rule out Japan being militarily involved.
The people of Taiwan have repeatedly voted to maintain independence from mainland China.
Life-saving measures would be required for babies that survive an abortion under a pre-filed bill in the Missouri Senate. Republican Senator Brad Hudson says the Born Alive Abortion Survivors Act would allow first-degree murder charges to be filed against doctors and staff that deliberately kill or allow a baby to die after a botched abortion.
In my mind, if you have a child that has been born alive and you refuse to provide that child with the care that you are able to provide that child to make sure that child lives, in my view, that is murder.
Hudson's proposal would also allow doctors and staff at abortion clinics to be sued if a child born alive doesn't receive life-saving care. A similar bill passed the Missouri House earlier this year, but it didn't make it through the Senate.
A new University of Illinois Springfield study is shedding light on the challenges facing Illinois CB hemp farmers as new federal rules create uncertainty for the industry. WBBM's Glenn Marshall.
The peer-reviewed research led by UIS's Environmental Studies program found many farmers still feel they are operating in a legal gray area even years after hemp was legalized. Growers reported ongoing stigma, confusion among regulators and law enforcement over the difference between hemp and marijuana, surprise inspections, and difficulty securing bank services and local licenses. The study also warns the new federal law redefining hemp could impact many CBD products and threaten small farm livelihoods when the changes take effect in 2026.
What were the top stories of 2025, according to our KMOX political analysts?
The biggest story for me was the fact that there's an American who was placed in as Pope.
Democratic consultant Michael Kelly says he always thought there would be no chance a Pope from the United States would be in the Vatican. And there's more to this story.
He's from Chicago. He's our neighbor. He grew up living a life like most of us. He went to baseball games. He rode a bus. He went to school. He lived an American life, and now he's a pope. And I think that's pretty unbelievable if you stop and really think about it.
Republican analyst John Hancock says for him, the explosion of AI is the most significant underreported story of this year.
And the unfettered, unregulated reality this administration has brought to the literally handful of billionaires who control what is going to be the predominant factor in all of our lives for the rest of our lives.
The time is 7:56.
Coverage varies by plan. View contracts and exclusions at EnduranceWarranty.com. Auto repair bills are through the roof. $3,000 to replace the transmission. $4,000 for a blown engine. And if your manufacturer's warranty is expired, you'll have to cover it all out of pocket. You need an Endurance Auto Protection Plan. No matter what the mileage, if your car is under 20 years old, Endurance can get you covered on the engine, electrical system, transmission, AC, drivetrain, and more. Endurance has plans for any budget. Repairs can be done at the certified mechanic of your choice, and they're paid directly with no middleman. Plans cover 24/7 roadside assistance, towing, battery jumps, fuel deliveries, tire changes, lockout services, and a 30-day money-back guarantee. Act now and get our elite benefits, including complete tire care and key fob replacement. A $2,000 value at no extra cost. With Endurance, you could never pay for covered auto repairs again, so call now for your free quote. Call 800-458-3124. 800-458-3124. 800-458-3124.
I'm Bob Burke, founder and chairman of Burke America Parts Group, a family of brands that includes RepairClinic.com, an appliance and HVAC parts solution company that's grown into an international brand. Before AmericanEagle.com, we partially launched a new technology platform developed by another firm. American Eagle helped take our technology to a whole new level with digital marketing, software development, and business insights into our key markets, appliances, HVAC, and outdoor power equipment, and did so both on time and on budget. AmericanEagle.com has the resources, experience, and talent needed to produce solutions. Our new technology platform, developed by AmericanEagle.com, has produced tremendous results with higher traffic, conversion, engagement, and online revenue. If you have any home repairs you need to take care of, check us out at RepairClinic.com. If you need a world-class website or technology project, then I would highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Call AmericanEagle.com at 773-NETWORK. That's AmericanEagle.com, 773-NETWORK.
Working full-time but still falling behind? Learn how real estate education can help you build income and get ahead. On your terms, text RADIO to 88007. That's RADIO to 88007. Presented by Lifestyles Unlimited.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at LanceDruryLaw.com.
7:59, Roger Brand, you are in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, we still have this jam over in Metro East, Tom, northbound 158, not all the way back to 161, but at least midway up between there and Seibert at the entrance to Scott Air Force Base. It's bumper to bumper through there. Southbound, a lesser delay, a degree of delay. It's more of a slowdown than a jam, but it is still bumper to bumper pretty solidly northbound there. Unfortunately, it's been that way for a while. They're still working this crash. It was an overturned box truck. They needed a skid loader to try to clear it off the roadway. Old Highway M at Glenstone Drive down in Imperial, so just watch for activity and still some possible delays there. Still seeing some slow traffic southbound 79 at TR Hughes, and debris reported in the right lane westbound 70 at the Rock Road. Next update at 8:10 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Celebrating 100 years and wishing you the best of the holiday season. KMOX AM St. Louis, KMOX FM Hazelwood, the voice of St. Louis.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Progressive Insurance.
I'm Christopher Cruz. We've learned that a bomb cyclone that hit the upper Midwest yesterday spawned at least 3 suspected tornadoes. More from CBS News meteorologist Rob Marciano.
The storm's powerful cold front smashing into spring-like temperatures near 70 degrees, triggering tornadoes in central Illinois. One of them carving a path of destruction near Mount Zion, damaging at least a dozen homes and tearing off several roofs, leaving Lieutenant Scott Flannery stunned by the destruction.
To actually get on scene thinking it's going to be just some power lines that are down, and turn out that we have people that are losing their homes tonight.
Snow, ice, high winds, and rain are forecast for much of the Northeast today. President Trump and Ukrainian President Zelensky came out of their meeting yesterday saying progress was made toward a plan to end Russia's invasion. Details from CBS's Kamal Afzali at the Foreign Desk in London.
So far, Zelensky has rejected the Kremlin's calls for land swaps and for Ukraine to give up the Donbas region. Sunday, he said the people of Ukraine should have the final say.
Our society has to choose and has to vote, because it's their land.
Before meeting Zelensky, President Trump said he had a, quote, good and very productive call with Russian President Vladimir Putin. Afterwards, the president told reporters Putin did not agree to a ceasefire during that call, but underscored his belief that Putin wants peace.
If things don't happen, they keep fighting, and they keep dying. And we don't want that to happen. He doesn't want it to happen. President Putin doesn't want it to happen.
And moments ago, President Putin says Russia is confidently advancing in Ukraine. CBS's Willie James Inman has more on the major sticking point in those negotiations.
President Putin, in large part, has demanded Ukraine give up the Donbas region, the country's industrial heartland. And President Zelensky has said any territorial concession would have to go through a referendum.
President Trump has another high-stakes meeting scheduled today. He'll talk with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu about whether to move forward with Phase 2 of the Gaza peace plan. Here's former State Department Middle East negotiator Aaron David Miller.
The real question is,
Can Gaza somehow be unified and governed?
China says it has deployed air, navy, and rocket forces to conduct joint live-fire military drills around Taiwan. From Beijing, the BBC's Stephen McDonnell says China's intentions here are clear.
What this is a dress rehearsal for two things. One is a blockade of Taiwan with these live-fire exercises going on all sides of the island, and the other is to prepare for an attack on that island from various approaches.
Dow futures at this hour are down slightly. The market opens in less than 30 minutes. This is CBS News.
Sponsored by Progressive. See why over 43 million drivers trust Progressive to stay protected on the road. See for yourself at Progressive.com.
At 8:03, 16 degrees, feels like 5 below downtown at the Arch. I'm Tom Ackerman, and these are the stories making news. Police say they've taken a suspect into custody for the stabbing death of an 81-year-old woman in her North St. Louis County home. County Police spokesperson Vera Clay.
The officers and detectives were able to pinpoint a suspect fairly quickly and put out a broadcast for that suspect as well as that vehicle that suspect was traveling in.
Clay says county police got the call before noon Sunday, and by 3 in the afternoon, St. Louis City Police found a match to that description. However, the man inside the car parked outside a gas station at Natural Bridge and Union refused to get out. Police used a flashbang and beanbags to get him to surrender. No names have been released. A massive car break-in at a Wildwood apartment complex led to a police chase early Christmas morning.
St. Louis County Police say 18 vehicles were tampered with at the Rockwood Springs Apartments. One vehicle stolen. Police spotted that stolen car and pursued it into the city of Wildwood, but say the suspect eventually got away. One tenant told Fox 2 News that management sent an email stating the crimes did not happen on the property. Rob Anderson, owner of Maximum Auto Vision, was busy cleaning up the damage on that property.
She had a door glass repair. So someone smashed her door glass. There was a bunch of glass everywhere. So we had to vacuum it up, get a new glass in there. It didn't take long at all.
Not much was taken. Some medicine, a person's keys, and a water bottle. Tenants now tell Fox 2 they're pushing for better lighting and security cameras near the carports. Stuart McMillan, KMOX News.
The interim St. Louis City Sheriff might only hold the position for a few weeks, so why is the Board of Aldermen starting a court battle over who gets to name them?
The board is working on legislation to hold a special election March 3rd today, while also filing litigation to have a say in picking the interim. Aldermanic President Megan Green says this goes deeper than just who should serve as the sheriff these few weeks.
We want to protect the legitimacy and the authority of the Board of Aldermen and make sure that we're not in a situation where a mayor is claiming authority that they don't have.
Green says the board has tried to work collaboratively with the mayor, but after she filed her declaratory judgment without them, they felt they had to intervene. In a statement, Mayor Kara Spencer says she thought her filing was the result of collaboration, but adds she does not care who the courts give the authority to name the replacement sheriff to. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
The last day to file petitions to run in any of Missouri's April 7th election municipal races is tomorrow. Candidate filings began December 9th. The last day to register to vote in April's general election is March 11th. The Sleep in Heavenly Peace charity builds beds for children in need across the country, but you can't build beds without tools. The chapter in Macoupin County, Illinois, had most of its storage bins of tools stolen on Christmas Eve.
When something bad happens, it can really bring out the best in a community.
That's Josh Carnduff, the co-president of the Sleep in Heavenly Peace volunteer group in Carlinville. He says they turned to social media for help and donations started pouring in.
In my eyes, in my mind, it's what Carlinville is about. The amount of support that we have had from the community, the amount of outreach, the amount of shares on social media, the amount of businesses that have stepped up and wanted to help.
Carnduff says the best way to reach them is through their Facebook page or through the website shp.org. Just look for the Carlinville, Illinois chapter information. Brad Choate, KMOX News.
Now that the Chiefs plan to leave Missouri by 2031, what happens to Republican plans to phase out the state income tax? House Speaker Jonathan Patterson of Lee's Summit said the Chiefs' move will not affect their tax cut plan.
One of the things that we want to do is to have a tax policy that attracts people and makes people want to live in Missouri. And right now we just lost one of those things, which is the Chiefs. But when people are deciding where they want to live, these are all kind of parts of it. Good schools, good roads, things to do like the Chiefs, and of course income tax is one of them.
Governor Kehoe says he plans to roll out his plan soon to phase out Missouri's income tax. Missouri House Democratic leader Ashley Awney of Kansas City says with no income tax, the tax credits at the center of Missouri's proposal to the Chiefs would become largely worthless. In sports, the Sabres in town to take on the Blues at Enterprise Center. They start at 7 o'clock. On KMOX tonight, we have Monday Night Football, the Rams and the Falcons. College basketball, Illinois is at home against Southern University at 2. Missouri State, Southern Illinois, Illinois State all in action today. The Bears taking on Delaware at 1. Salukis at Murray State at 6. Redbirds at Drake at 8. Business Desk sponsored by Krentz Financial Group, KFGadvisors.com. Some new Missouri laws go into effect Thursday for the start of the new year. Minimum wage goes up from $13.75 an hour to $15 an hour. Lawmakers repealed annual minimum wage increases, however. Another new law allows taxpayers to subtract certain income types from their Missouri taxable income. The price of certain beers could go down a little. American-made beer produced by U.S. breweries will be charged a lower fee per barrel. And Missouri schools will now implement a new statewide Stop the Bleed protocol that is aimed at training teachers and staff to respond to severe injuries and medical emergencies. Traffic and weather next.
I dared Archwell Health to keep track of my vitals and my grandkids' names.
I dared Archwell Health to simplify my prescriptions, so Max and I have more time to play. Good boy.
And I dared Archwell Health to be closer than my neighborhood coffee shop.
Our members dared us to do more as a primary care provider for adults age 60 and up. So we made it our mission. Visit archwellhealth.com and become a member today. Archwell Health. We dare to care.
Do you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS like Mark?
I've been doing home remodeling for 30 plus years, but the economy crashed. I wound up losing my home, losing my job, and on top of that, owing the IRS a ton of money. I owed the IRS $114,000. It really, truly was the worst part of my life.
Then Mark found tax relief advocates.
On news radio, I heard about TRA, and I thought, what's the worst that could happen? So I picked up the phone and I called them. When it was all said and done, TRA settled my $114,000 debt for $100, and I'm telling you, I was ecstatic. Could not believe it. Would recommend TRA to anyone.
If you owe 10 or even hundreds of thousands of dollars to the IRS, don't lose hope. Do what Mark did and call TRA for a consultation.
But TRA did. They gave me a second chance, and I'm forever grateful.
Visit TRA.com or call 800-554-4706. 800-554-4706. That's 800-554-4706.
Hey, St. Louis City SC fans, mark your calendars now. The Boys in Red return to Energizer Park to kick off Season 4 Saturday, February 21st. And you could be there for the dawn of a new golden era of St. Louis soccer. Go to stlcitysc.com/tickets and reserve your seat now for the MLS home opener versus Charlotte FC. Limited quantities remain. See you soon, St. Louis.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts. Now the news at 1 The Fun. It's the Dave Glover Show on 104.1 FM KMOX.
And let's get a check on traffic. The Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center Captain Roger Brand.
Well, John, it's been a really nice morning. I'm sure every weekday this week's going to be the same. It's another holiday week just like last week, so lighter volume. Folks are off, families are out of town, whatnot. Makes it easier for the rest of you that have to get out and go someplace. Still seeing a little slowdown southbound 79 to TR Hughes. We had signal problems there on Friday. Other than that, interstate-wise, we're looking good. We still have some backed up traffic, not as bad as it was. It's just more of a slowdown now. Northbound 158, about midway up from 161 to Scott Air Force Base. It was jammed earlier, so improvements there. And also seeing delays on 158, just to the south of there at Radio Range Road, it looks like also. So some busy stretches in Metro East. And then Old Highway M at Glenstone, we had an earlier overturned box truck. You may still find some restrictions there. Next update at 8:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Very windy today and much colder than recent days. Clouded, a few snow flurries this morning, followed by some afternoon sun. Our high just 30. AccuWeather real field temperatures hovering near zero this morning, only into the low teens later this afternoon. Tonight, mainly clear, breezy, and quite cold, low 19 with real feel single digits. Plenty of sunshine tomorrow, a cold breeze, high 35. Not quite so cold Wednesday, partly sunny, the high 43. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
And welcome. It's Total Information AM. John Hancock sitting in for Megan Lynch. She'll be back with us next week. And I woke up yesterday morning, folks. It was delightful outside. Nice little breeze blowing. Temperature in the 60s. It would eventually get into the mid-70s yesterday. We all experienced that. And I thought to myself, Michael Kelly has flown down to Florida, and here we've got all of this magnificent weather. Well, today is a different story, because when I walked outside this morning, the real feel in Chesterfield, Missouri was 2 below. 2 below.
Ooh.
The birthplace of Elvis Presley, 2 below Mississippi. Joining us from the state of Florida, Michael Kelly. What's going on, pal? How's the weather down there?
It's absolutely perfect. Now, they're expecting it to be 60 degrees later in the week, and that's frigid down here.
Horrors of
it all. As a side note, I've actually been to Tupelo, Mississippi, and been to where Elvis was born.
Is that right?
And I know that sounds weird, but, I went to Ole Miss for a year.
Yeah.
And we went over to...
How'd that work out for you?
It was a great time. I really highly recommend it. It's a nice place to stop for a year. But I did go over and see where Elvis was born, and I'm not a big Elvis nut like some I know.
Yeah, my wife, chief among them. She, we went to Memphis, and she said, I really want to go see Graceland. I had no interest. So there's a little gas station across the street. So I pulled into the gas station. She got out, started walking across the lawn, and got accosted by the security because you got to pay an admission to go to see Graceland. But it all worked out fine. So let's start with Volodymyr Zelensky and Donald Trump yesterday. Not really a framework for a peace plan, but they've pledged to continue talking. Of course, the president also spoke with Vladimir Putin yesterday for a couple of hours, the White House said. How optimistic are you, Michael Kelly, that they're going to get something done here in the short term?
Well, I'm hopeful, but I'm not optimistic. I'm hopeful that they find some way to resolve this unfair, unjust war. At the same time, I'm not optimistic. It seems like every time we get told that these folks have made a couple of steps forward, Vladimir Putin continues to be the dictator we all know he is and blows places up. So I'm not too encouraged. The best part of what we're witnessing right now is the president seems to be renewing his support of Ukraine in this fight, and I hope that remains solid. Do you read it differently?
No, I don't think Putin's going to, the whole thing would have to be predicated on an agreed ceasefire to negotiate going forward, and I just don't see Putin agreeing to that. Yesterday, for example, right before the meetings were going on, Putin gave one of his most heavy bombing attacks on Kyiv. So that's not an indication that he's looking for any kind of actual peace there. And I suspect this thing's going to drag on and on and on, and largely with just Ukrainian support from European allies and not from the United States. But I hope I'm wrong. You may have seen this in the news. I don't know if you're down there in Florida. Who knows what you're doing? There's a new lawsuit filed against Missouri's congressional redrawn maps. This is at least the second suit that I'm aware of. What's your prognosis on whether, when the election rolls in next year, whether we're going to be voting in the old congressional district lines or the newly redrawn lines?
Well, I know nothing, and I'm not an attorney, as pretty much described you as well. Know nothing and not an attorney. I believe we will be competing under the old lines, because I do know the court system well enough that it sure seems to be taking some time, and that's not necessarily unprecedented. So I think by the time this continues to get dragged on, we'll be still voting under the existing line system, John. So that would essentially mean 2 Democrats from Missouri. Obviously, the other lines the Republicans are trying to implement would take us to 1. I don't think they get that. Am I all wet?
No, I think it's more likely than not that either through the litigation effort or through the initiative petition that would place the new maps on the ballot for approval or rejection by voters, I think one of those 2 methods is likely to succeed, and I think we'll be using the old boundaries. But time is going to tell. There's a whole lot of stuff that's going to be told in the next year. Get a chance to watch some football yesterday, buddy?
I did. I was rooting for those Bears at the very end of the game last night, but unfortunately didn't pull it out. But it is exciting to see Chicago in the playoffs. And how about Luther Burden yesterday? Really representing. This guy's becoming a superstar inside the NFL.
Yeah, it was his best game of the season. He had the deep touchdown pass. I think he got more receiving yards, well into the hundreds, than he's had to date. And, he's a fast kid. He's got good moves. He's elusive, and he gets open. All things that you're looking for in a receiver. Now, he's, a little slightly built, but the guy can scoot. And I, too, was kind of hoping the Bears would pull that thing out. But that game, that was a crazy game with all the points scored.
Yeah, it was fun. Well, it's almost over with now. I mean, in 6 weeks we'll have the Super Bowl, and I know we're just getting the return of winter right now, but once the Super Bowl comes, then we get the Masters, and then pitchers and catchers report down in Jupiter. So life is about to slide back towards some better weather.
Yeah, I was a little surprised that the Cardinals, Chaim Bloom has not yet been able to move on from Nolan Arenado and hasn't moved Brendan Donovan. I was thinking that would occur before Christmas. It did not. But those moves have got to be imminent, right?
I guess. I mean, your guess is as good as mine. I saw a couple of memes over the week. He's done lots of deals with Boston, right? And makes sense, right? He's from there. He knows those young players, et cetera. I saw one that said, okay, Chaim Bloom has gone too far, and it was a picture of the green monster with the arch in the background that we had traded the Red Sox the arch. But I ran into him in the airport about 3 weeks ago, and I just walked up to him, and I didn't bother him. Not many people were bothering him, but I did say, hey, pal, we're all counting on you. And I think he understands that, and hopefully, John, he's taking it serious. I think he gets a couple of years to put this together, but we deserve a team that wins again, and I'm hopeful this guy's going to lead us to the promised land.
That's my buddy Michael Kelly. It's Total Information AM. We roll on after this on KMOX. Let's get a check on the roads. Captain Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
No, not much to worry about out there, John, this morning so far. This traffic reports a service of Pine Valley Assisted Living. Interstates look great, even in the work zones. 55 down in Festus at Bayless, 270 north of 64, 70 out west, Warrenton, Wright City area. Everything's been on the go. Still seeing a bit of a slowdown. Southbound 79 at TR Hughes. We had signal problems there Friday, so I'm having to assume that that's, again, maybe the case why we still have the delays there. And it looks a lot better. It looks like we're pretty well thinned out now on 158 around Scott Air Force Base, so that's good to see. Next update at 8:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Looking for a beautiful, all-inclusive place for your loved one? Happy holidays from Pine Valley Assisted Living. Secure a room between now and January 31st and take advantage of our move-in special. Enjoy affordable rates with absolutely no hidden fees. Experience the beautiful life at Pine Valley. Visit rspseniorliving.com today.
And the AccuWeather forecast, it's 15 degrees right now in St. Louis, and it feels like it's in the 0 range. It's very, very cold. Be bundled up, folks.
It's Tom Ackerman, Genesis of St. Charles, the #1 Genesis dealer in Missouri for 2025. Your premier Genesis dealer, Genesis of St. Charles. Now is the time to visit. It's the signature event at Genesis of St. Charles. They want your trade, and they're willing to pay more for it on any new Genesis purchase. No games, no gimmicks, just upfront pricing. Unlock the e-price today by going to genesisofstcharles.com, and you'll find that every purchase, every one, comes with 3 years of complimentary Genesis service valet. And let me tell you, luxurious service at their state-of-the-art facility, 5601 Veterans Memorial Parkway. That's off Mid-Rivers Mall Drive and I-70. It's Genesis of St. Charles. You can get started online at genesisofstcharles.com, but I do highly recommend that you come into the dealership. It's fantastic. genesisofstcharles.com.
Thy ticket, Lady Jennifer of Coolidge.
Well, many thanks, good sir. Here'th my Discover card.
They accept Discover at Renaissance fairs?
Yeah, they do here. Discover's accepted at the places I love to shop. Getteth with the times.
With the times? You're playing the lute.
Yeah, and it sounds pretty good, right?
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2025 Nielsen report.
Hear that? That's Mike. He took ZzzQuil Pure Z's, so now he's sleeping soundly on a Sunday night. ZzzQuil Pure Z's are fast-acting melatonin gummies with a complementary botanical blend to help Mike get the sleep he needs to wake up refreshed and ready to conquer Monday.
Let's do this Monday.
ZzzQuil Pure Z's, just for sleep. Really great sleep. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
This holiday season, when you get them Steel, batteries are included. Buy select battery tool sets and get a free extra battery. Visit SteelUSA.com for gift ideas and seasonal savings. Happy holidays from Steel. Offer valid for a limited time only at participating dealers while supplies last.
It is Total Information AM in St. Louis. I'm John Hancock, and those of you that listen regularly know that I love history. So I thought we'd take a couple minutes here and have a little history lesson, shall we? I want to talk about the oldest soldier, American soldier, who landed during the Normandy invasion, June 6, 1944. He was 56 years old at the time. He had served also in World War I. His father had been something of a military hero. And this fellow had gotten out of the Army after World War I, became very successful in business, dabbled in politics, which is why I like him. And in 1940, before the U.S. got into the war, he decided to re-enlist. He had to get a special clearance from General Eisenhower in order to do so. And he, this 56-year-old hero, wanted to be with his troops on the D-Day invasion landing, and in fact they did. He landed at Utah Beach. They were the first unit to arrive on Utah Beach, and the general, with his cane, because he had pretty severe arthritis and he walked with a cane, he hit the beach and landed. They had drifted, so they weren't where they were assigned to be. He personally greeted all of his troops as they got off the boat and began to fight, and he had to make a battlefield decision, and they decided that they were going to start the fight where they were. And he led his men, and they successfully navigated what was, maybe one of the bloodiest days in the history of American warfare. And his men succeeded, and they were able to get the ground. And as he moved over further on Utah Beach and met up with another division there, they had great success, and this general was widely credited with being just a master field operator, and it was remarkable. And he was 56 years old at the time of that landing. They managed to get through. They took fairly minimal casualties, especially for Americans at that time. On that day, it was a mass casualty event, storming those beaches at Normandy. And he lived through it. He got through it and was promoted, was scheduled to be promoted to Major General. But before the paperwork could get to the White House, he had a heart attack and died right there in France at the age of 56 a decorated military veteran. You may have heard of him. His name, General Theodore Roosevelt, the son of the President of the United States. That's our history lesson for today, and I want to tell you that the time here in St. Louis is 8:27 in the morning, sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
Overhead Door Company of St. Louis, the genuine, the original, present 100 years of KMOX.
1993.
There, when disaster hit.
June 27th, the Mississippi River rises above flood stage at St. Louis.
July 3rd, the Missouri River reaches flood stage for the second time, and levees are starting to buckle.
This is Nan Wyatt in the KMOX Flood Center. Sandbaggers are still needed this afternoon.
Good morning, I'm Daryl Lloyd. We have a live update now from the KMOX Jetcopter 1, where Steve Shoemaker is flying over West Alton right now, the scene of a number of levee breaks recently. Steve?
There's a farmhouse I'm looking at right, and it's floating.
Those levees were never intended to protect against 49.6 feet.
We had the greatest natural disaster that's ever hit.
There for every headline, every heartbreak, every heartbeat. KMOX, the voice of St. Louis. Brought to you by the Polar Express at St. Louis Union Station. Get your tickets now at stlpolarexpressride.com.
I'm Piera Palazzolo, VP of Digital Marketing for the American Management Association, a company focused on the management training skills needed to enhance the careers of business professionals. We did our research when it came to the best companies for website development and chose AmericanEagle.com. And we couldn't be happier. AmericanEagle.com worked closely with us to understand the front and back end requirements needed to launch an e-commerce website that could handle the complexities of running thousands of seminars nationwide. Our robust new website and improved SEO saw immediate increases in site traffic and web revenue. If you're in need of managerial effectiveness and success, visit our website at amanet.org. If you're in need of a website that provides an unparalleled consumer experience, I highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Transform your business today. Dial 877-WebNow1 for a free digital consultation with AmericanEagle.com.
He's Donald Trump's #1 enemy in Congress, Chicago politician Dick Durbin. Now, Durbin has a new scheme. He's doing the dirty work to benefit corporate megastores. Durbin's bill could cut corners on your credit card security, putting your personal data at risk. Big chain retailers and warehouse stores want to inflate their profits, and liberal Dick Durbin would help them do it. Tell senators, say no to the megastores and Dick Durbin. Paid for by the Electronic Payments Coalition.
What if every time you spent money, you saved money too? With Achieve It Checking from Together Credit Union, you can do just that. Every debit card purchase is rounded up to the nearest dollar, and the spare change goes right into your savings. And here's the best part. Together Credit Union boosts your progress by matching qualifying savings, up to $8 a month. It's a free checking account that helps you achieve more automatically. Learn more, or better yet, enroll today at togethercu.org. Together Credit Union, federally insured by NCUA.
For 100 years, KMOX has been the voice of St. Louis, informing, entertaining, and connecting our community. Now, relive a century of service at KMOX100.com, a website that allows you to explore classic KMOX audio, rare photos and video, and the legendary voices that shaped St. Louis. Every headline, every heartbreak, every heartbeat lives on at KMOX100.com.
And we check in on the roadways in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center and Captain Roger Brand.
Well, John, there's not much to worry about on the highways. Interstate-wise, we're in great shape, have been pretty much all morning long, and it still continues to roll out there. They are doing some shoulder work on 270 both ways between the Chain Rocks Bridge and 157. I don't see any delays through there, though. Just pay attention as the crews are out there working. 162 at Keebler, a little heavy right now, but like I said, not much going on even in the major secondary. Sounds like they did clear that crash on Old Highway M at Glenstone as well. I'm Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
And from the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, it's 15 degrees outside right now. We were about 70 at this time yesterday. Pretty unreal. It's going to be cold all day and a high of just 30 degrees today. And it's Total Information AM. John Hancock along with you. Coming up, we're going to visit with Willie James Inman. He's a White House reporter for CBS News, and we're going to talk about the meeting yesterday between Donald Trump and Volodymyr Zelensky, and also the president's phone call with Vladimir Putin, teasing the fact that a peace plan could be in the works. We'll find out, and we'll get that update. And then Brad Young, our own Brad Young, is going to join us. There was a new lawsuit filed just the other day related to the effort to redraw Missouri's congressional district maps. It's at least the second lawsuit that I'm aware of, and so we'll see how that comes up, and it'll be nice to check in with Brad Young. He's going to be sitting here tomorrow in the 8 o'clock hour while Megan Lynch enjoys some much-deserved time off. So over the holidays, I was asked to accompany the children at church. They were going to do a little sing-along thing. And I agreed to do it, although the last time I accompanied any singer was 1983, which was a long time ago. And it was a young lady that I was taking the course in the lecture hall at Mizzou called The History of Jazz. And the professor, early on in the semester, found out that I played ragtime piano, and he said, "Would you play for the class?" And I said, "Sure." So I did. I played a couple of tunes. And after my performance, this very attractive young woman came up and she says, "Are you an accompanist?" And I looked at her and I said, "Yes, I am." And she was running for Miss North Central Missouri as part of the Miss America pageant. And so we worked on I Left My Heart in San Francisco. She was performing for the talent portion of the show. And having never been an accompanist before, I was a little nervous. And I'm off stage. She comes out in her evening gown and she's singing "Little Cable Cars Climb Halfway to the Star." Well, while she's singing, the tempo completely gets away from me because, you know, I play ragtime piano. I play kind of fast. And about halfway into the song, it was "Little Cable Cars Climb Halfway to the Stars." And she's looking at me and giving me the side eye. And I thought that would be my last accompanying performance ever. But no, I helped the kids with a rousing rendition of Jingle Bells that was very, very fast. When we come back, Willie James Inman, CBS White House reporter, joins us on Total Information AM on KMOX.
My name is Whitney Allen. I am a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought in a million years we'd have to use life insurance. The unexpected happened. With Ethos, it is so fast and easy. It's 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage through Ethos.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Makita knows that pros never settle, and neither do we. With Makita, you get tools that perform at the highest level on every job without compromise. Makita is for the most detailed pros, expertly engineered to deliver precision, job after job. When your work calls for the best, call on Makita. Makita, built to be the best. Available at the Home Depot.
Brought to you by Eamon Gantner and Capriano, YourEstateMatters.com.
This is the Bloomberg Money Minute. The new week on Wall Street kicking off with an acquisition. The Japanese tech giant SoftBank has agreed to buy the Florida-based private equity firm Digital Bridge Group, which invests in data centers and other tech assets. Price about $4 billion. Shares of Digital Bridge sure to shoot higher today, while elsewhere on Wall Street, stock index futures are pointing to a slightly lower opening. A little weakness in some big-name tech stocks like Tesla is weighing on the NASDAQ in particular. Oil prices up 2.5% this hour to a little more than $58 a barrel. That's after U.S.-led peace talks over the weekend with Ukraine failed to reach a deal, at least for right now. And the private equity-owned United Site Services, a provider of porta potties, bathroom trailers, and temporary fencing at construction sites, concerts, emergencies, and natural disasters, filed for bankruptcy over the weekend. That's 18 months after it reshuffled $2 billion in debt, trying to raise some new cash. Tom Busby, Bloomberg Radio.
St. Louis City SC is teaming up again with Enterprise to salute the people who make our city shine bright. The Exceptional Neighbor program presented by Enterprise is back, and now you can help us find the class of 2026. Nominate your friend, coworker, or anyone who's going above and beyond for the STL region, and they could be featured on the pitch during halftime. Go to stlcitysc.com/exceptional neighbor now through January 9th and tell us who you think deserves to be an exceptional neighbor. Presented by Enterprise.
'Tis the season, and Quick Trip is turning your phone into the gift that keeps on giving, and giving, and giving. With QT's Holidays. From now till the end of the season, when you open the QT app, you'll automatically get one free gift per day. We're talking classic QT treats like coffee, pizza, or donuts, ready to make your taste buds sing carols of joy. Plus, exclusive deals from your favorite brands. With a new surprise waiting for you every day, your phone will be stuffed with more treats than your stocking. QT's Holidays. Open the QT app for your daily gift.
Reel in the big one at the best fishing expo in the Midwest, the Let's Go Fishing Show on January 2nd through 4th at Gateway Convention Center in Collinsville. Visit vendors with the latest fishing boats, rods, reels, tackle, accessories, resorts, and guided services. Shop unique one-of-a-kind items and top-of-the-line marine electronics at discount prices. Attend free seminars. Meet pro anglers, Bassmaster Elite Series Pro, Brandon Palaniuk, Carl Jacobson, and more. Free fishing pond. Win prizes from Canoe Canada and Tri-State Trolling Motors. Visit letsgoshows.com for coupons and more info.
If you or anyone you care about is facing a family legal matter, call Cordell & Cordell today at 1-855-GET-LEGAL.
There's a lot on the line in divorce. This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell, the largest family law firm in the country, with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. But being big doesn't mean less personal or less local. Our attorneys live and work in your community, and as neighbors, they understand the challenges your families face. Divorce touches all areas of your life: your home, savings, retirement, and of course, kids. So when you find yourself facing divorce, you need a partner you can count on.
If you or anyone you care about is facing divorce, contact Cordell & Cordell today. With over 100,000 clients served, we understand the challenges you're facing on a personal level. Call Cordell & Cordell today at 1-855-GET-LEGAL. That's 1-855-GET-LEGAL. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. 600 Kelwood, St. Louis.
Retiring soon? Get the information you need by joining Kyle Jones and Matt Allgeier of Fira Capital Management for your retirement highway, Sunday mornings at 9:30. Investment advisory services made available through Pine Ridge Advisors, LLC, a registered investment advisor. Securities made available through AE Financial Services, LLC, member FINRA and SIPC.
You're listening to Total Information AM on KMOX 104.1. I'm Sean Malone. Here's what's happening. Police say they've taken a suspect into custody for the stabbing of an 81-year-old woman in her North St. Louis County home. The man barricaded himself inside a car parked outside a gas station at Natural Bridge and Union and refused to get out yesterday. Police used flashbangs and beanbags to get him to surrender. No names have been released. We're awaiting word from the Highway Patrol about their investigation into a woman being killed by a dog in Bourbon, Missouri. The attack happened late Saturday night at a home off Hickory Street. The tragedy is leading to more calls for animal control in the town. With the thermometer reaching 78 degrees in St. Louis Lambert International Airport yesterday afternoon, the National Weather Service says this is the warmest December temperature on record at that measuring station.
And let's get a check on traffic. Captain Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, John, things look great on the highways. I don't see any issues anywhere out there right now. They are doing road work on east and westbound 270 between the Chain of Rocks Bridge and 157, supposedly just work on the shoulders, so they shouldn't have any lanes blocked. I don't see delays there. I don't see delays on any of these other area interstates either. Everything's been great for you all morning long. I'm Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
My best friend Jenny came over for coffee, said it's cold enough in here to play hockey. Well, my furnace broken, it's already late. Call Jerry Kelly because they're open till 8. JerryKelly.com. They're fast and they're good and they got it going on. Jerry Kelly.
Well, it's warming up out there. It's 18 degrees downtown at the Arch, and joining us now on Total Information AM is Willie James Inman. He's a White House reporter covering things down in West Palm Beach. That's a tough assignment. Welcome aboard, Willie.
Hi there. Good morning. A tough assignment indeed.
So yesterday, a big meeting between President Donald Trump and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. What's the recap of what came out of that particular news conference?
Yeah, well, it seems that perhaps we're closer than we ever have been before. If you read into what President Trump said following this meeting, now he did speak with President Putin of Russia ahead of the meeting. He said he would talk with Putin after the meeting as well. But the president seemingly expressing optimism, essentially saying that there was a major movement towards peace, that he believes both leaders, Zelensky and Putin, are ready for peace. Now, there remain some key sticking points. Security guarantees, in large part, Ukraine, Zelensky to be specific, he wants those security guarantees from the West, including the United States, not just for 15 years or so, which was the initial thought, but he wants them for decades, up to 50 years of assistance, he said in a huddle with reporters following his meeting with President Trump. Now, he did also mention that President Trump will consider that, but remember, the president will likely need the support of Congress to be able to give Ukraine more military assistance. You also have the situation with territorial concessions, the Donbas region in Ukraine, the industrial heartland to be exact. Putin has demanded essentially all of the Donbas. That's something that Ukraine has previously said that they would not do. The president of Ukraine, Zelensky, has said that he won't be able to do that, but he has somewhat warmed to the idea of an economic zone or a demilitarized zone in the Donbas region, but he did also mention that they would need a national referendum in Ukraine to be able to move forward with any type of territorial concession. So there's still some sticking points almost there. The president mentioning to reporters after this meeting with Zelensky that it will still take a couple of weeks for things to work out behind the scenes as both sides continue to negotiate, and the Americans, being the mediators in this case, speak with the Russians and the Ukrainians.
Yeah, the president, well known for the getting things done within 2 weeks pledge, so we'll see on that. Now, would all of this stuff be predicated with a mutual ceasefire?
That is one of the major things that Ukraine has wanted in the past. But remember, Putin previously, during that Alaska summit, essentially saying that he does not favor a ceasefire. The president mentioning that yesterday as well, that essentially what the Russians want here is they want a movement towards peace. They want those concessions. But still, all those details need to be worked out. So in the immediate term, in the near term, before they get to this peace deal, that's not likely to happen. But in large part, if all sides were to agree to this, fighting, of course, would likely stop then and there. But we're still not quite there yet with this 20-point peace plan. It still has to go back to the Russians. So Moscow has to weigh in, and we'll have to wait and see what happens there. But all indications are seemingly positive coming from down here in South Florida from the president, his winter home. We like to call it his winter White House. He's hosting Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu of Israel today. So heavily focused on foreign policy and trying to solve these conflicts. With Netanyahu today, he's likely going to touch on that Gaza ceasefire plan and moving towards phase 2. So a lot of diplomatic shuttling and then a lot of diplomatic back and forth and conversations for the president during his winter holiday down here in South Florida.
Have we seen any reaction from the Western European allies as far as their continued support of Ukraine, military support in particular?
Yeah, and the president mentioned this in his press conference with reporters yesterday, that the Europeans are heavily involved. In fact, there was a call with several European leaders. The president was on that call, Zelensky as well. He did also say that the European leaders could come to Washington for a summit down the road. So we could see Zelensky, the president, and the European leaders in some type of summit if we move closer to the finalization of that deal. We know that the president wants the Europeans heavily involved in any type of security guarantees. In large part, he said that because of the proximity to Europe, but also because the president, remember, a change and a shift from former President Joe Biden wants to see Europe really bear some of the costs in terms of how much this is costing the United States. In large part, recently, there's been some change in terms of like Europe providing arms and the U.S. selling those arms, replenishing arms to Europe. So we could potentially see some of that down the road, but the Europeans are heavily involved. Zelensky, in fact, he met with Mark Carney, the prime minister, over the weekend, spoke with European leaders as well. So you have the coalition of the willing, the other Western nations involved heavily, and down the road we could potentially see that meeting and leaders coming together. And I also mentioned, the president mentioned that potentially there could be a trilateral summit with himself, Zelensky, and Putin at the appropriate time. So I don't anticipate that happening unless we're really on the cusp of a deal being agreed to.
That is CBS News White House reporter Willie James Inman. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us this morning on KMOX, and have yourself a happy New Year.
Same to you. Thank you.
All right, lots happening, of course, in the world, and President Donald Trump on the world stage with President Volodymyr Zelensky yesterday. I know this is a time of year where so many of us are engaged in family activities and enjoying the holidays, enjoying time together with one another, and maybe not as much time spent keeping up with the news of the day. But that was a fairly significant event yesterday at Mar-a-Lago, and we'll see if anything comes of it. My own perspective on this is that I don't think Putin will ever agree to a ceasefire, and that being the case, then this thing is going to go on indefinitely, and I don't see a simple solution to this problem anytime soon. Well, there's not a simple solution to Missouri's redistricting problem either. A new lawsuit filed just the other day. We're going to visit about that with our own Brad Young after this on Total Information AM, KMOX.
Hey guys, Kevin Wheeler here to tell you about 213 Complex, which is available at Supplement Superstores. Look, it's the time of year to make things happen with health goals. 213 Complex will do for you what it does for me. Gets the metabolism rocking and rolling 24 hours a day, helps you fight cravings, gives you all-day focused energy with no crash that comes at the end of the day either. It's been a big help for me. It will help you. So get out to Supplement Superstores. Tell them Kevin Wheeler sent you in. They'll knock 30% off your 213 Complex. To get started down your path and find your location, just go to supplementsuperstores.com.
You know Graybar for electrical parts, but there's one more thing you may not be thinking of us for that can help maximize your next project's total value. Our pre-project planning services are designed to help you win the bid, save on labor costs, and keep your installers productive across your entire build. The sooner you call us, the better. Because when we're there from the beginning, we can anticipate your needs and help you solve problems before they become problems. Yep, Graybar does that.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at lancedrurylaw.com.
Don't miss Mosby Building Arts Home Improvement Show, Saturdays from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. on KMOX. One of the last call-in shows where you can get live answers to your remodeling, design, and construction questions. Tune in Saturdays at 11 a.m.
Winterfest is back for the 10th year in Keener Plaza, now through January 11th. Enjoy Winterfest traditions, including ice skating, s'mores, and igloos underneath 100,000 twinkling lights in the shadow of the Gateway Arch. Grab a bite or drink from downtown favorites and enjoy a family-friendly New Year's Eve fireworks spectacular. Winterfest, hosted by Gateway Arch Park Foundation, presented by Bank of America and Worldwide Technology. For more info, KMOX.com/events.
Oh, it's Total Information AM. John Hancock with you. I forgot to turn my microphone on there for a second. We're going to be joined momentarily by Brad Young with our legal analyst here on KMOX. He's actually going to be sitting in tomorrow in the 8 o'clock hour in place of Megan Lynch. She'll be back next week, and we're going to visit a little bit about the redistricting controversy in Missouri. The legislature, as you may remember, had a special session where they redrew Missouri's congressional district lines mid-decade for, I believe, the first time. Well, I don't know if it's the first time in history. It's the first time in a very long time, if not the only time, where the lines have been drawn mid-decade. And joining us to discuss it is our legal analyst, Brad Young. Hello, Bradley.
Mr. Hancock, good morning, sir.
Happy New Year. So the ACLU files a suit last week, and they're claiming that the maps can't be put into effect because there's a pending initiative petition drive. Any basis to that?
Well, the basis for that, John, is more history than statute. And in fact, the ACLU cites going back at least 30, 40 years that when there's a challenge to something like this, that it automatically suspends the implementation of the law until it can be actually decided by a referendum. Now, the problem with that position on the other side of the issue is that under federal law, there's been this trend over the past 20 years or so that there shouldn't be anything done new or different when you're in an election year when it comes to how an election is actually handled. Obviously, this issue goes to the heart of how an election is handled, and so that there's a quandary then between those two positions.
Yeah, and it seems like the logistics of this thing, because filing for Congress in Missouri opens up in February. So there's basically a month before somebody's got to decide which lines they're going to run under. And there's other litigation about the map that was redrawn this year as well. How do you see this thing from a legal standpoint working out with the timing involved?
Well, I see it all coming down to how Article 3, Section 45 of the Missouri Constitution is interpreted. Under that section, it specifically states that when it comes to redistricting, that it should be done, and I'm going to use quotes here, under the census of 1950 and each census thereafter, unquote. So it says it can be done under the census. The question for the courts is going to be that the Missouri Constitution doesn't forbid a mid-decade redistricting. It simply specifically allows for redistricting when there's a census being done. Congress argues here that the legislature in Missouri argues that they have plenary power. That means they have absolute power over this area unless the Constitution says otherwise. And here the Constitution doesn't say otherwise. Again, on the flip side, if you look at past precedent or how it's been done, it's always been done after a census at the beginning of a decade. So the courts are going to have to decide here what power does Congress have in this area, and it could go either way. I mean, flip a coin here because you really have no specific guardrails, so to speak, as to how the legislature should move forward.
Yeah, and then you got all the litigation about the signature gathering, and it's kind of a mess. It's going to have to get resolved sooner rather than later. We've got just a couple of minutes left, and I wanted to review. There's some pretty big cases where we're awaiting Supreme Court of the United States actions. Let's go with the one about Trump's tariffs. Where is that thing, and when do we expect a ruling?
Well, the oral argument happened about a month ago on this case before the Supreme Court, and the whole issue literally comes down to this. There is a law called the IEEPA that Trump has been using to institute tariffs. The IEEPA doesn't specifically grant the president the power to to institute tariffs. That's traditionally a congressional power unless it's delegated to the president. But the backdoor problem here is that even if the Supreme Court rules this law doesn't allow Trump to institute tariffs, he's got multiple other laws that he can fall back on to institute the same tariffs, much like Biden did with student loan forgiveness. And so this issue is nowhere close to being resolved.
Interesting. Yeah, I had a couple of IEEPAs over the holiday season, and it was very lovely.
Yeah, but you took some meds, though, and they cleared it right up, right?
Exactly. Hey, how was your holiday, Bradley?
The young household, we had a fantastic Christmas, celebrating the birth of Christ and the reason for the season, and we had a great time.
All the family together?
Yep, most of the family together. One of my daughters couldn't make it in from out of town, but the rest of us were all gathered in the young homestead by a fire. But, of course, it was like 75 degrees, so we were all kind of sweating.
Yeah, now tonight, a fire is in order, I would think.
Oh, yeah, man, absolutely.
Have you been outside yet this morning?
I have not, but my dog has, and she told me it was very cold.
Yeah, and she was correct. That's Brad Young. He's going to be sitting in this very seat tomorrow at this very time. We need to step aside, however. Chris and Amy, both of them together. That's something you don't see every day. That's next on KMOX.
It's the last work week of 2025. You might as well spend it with us. My sheriff is out, and St. Louis has to pick a new one. We'll talk over the process with Sean Malone, and Andrew Egger is on the show with us again on a Monday. All that and more coming up on the Chris and Amy Show right after the news on KMOX.
Time now for today's Spotlight on Money, sponsored by University of Maryland Global Campus.
There's so much more to retirement than saving money. Sherry Greco-Rikis of EP Wealth says you need to think about where you will live and whether that location will fit your lifestyle.
Do you want to live in a city? Do you want an urban culture? Do you want more of living in a farm?
Once you do find a place to live in retirement, she suggests trying it out before you buy a home.
Maybe rent for a few weeks.
I'm Rob Hart.
You know the rush when you reach that goal? When something you've worked for pays off? That's success. At University of Maryland Global Campus, we believe you should never stop chasing it. That's why we offer a skills-based education that helps move your career forward. Learn how to apply emerging technologies like AI and data science. Build your leadership and critical thinking skills. Apply now and save with no application fee. Classes start January 7th. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
Hey, St. Louis City SC fans, mark your calendars now. The Boys in Red return to Energizer Park to kick off Season 4 Saturday, February 21st. And you could be there for the dawn of a new golden era of St. Louis soccer. Go to stlcitysc.com/tickets and reserve your seat now for the MLS home opener versus Charlotte FC. Limited quantities remain. See you soon, St. Louis.
I dared Archwell Health to keep track of my vitals and my grandkids' names.
I dared Archwell Health to simplify my prescriptions, so Max and I have more time to play. Good boy.
And I dared Archwell Health to be closer than my neighborhood coffee shop.
Our members dared us to do more as a primary care provider for adults age 60 and up. So we made it our mission. Visit archwellhealth.com and become a member today. Archwell Health. We dare to care.
Hey, this is Charlie Brennan. Have you noticed loose bricks or missing mortar around your house? On the walls, the patios, the walkways, the porch, or the chimneys? If so, you need to call Morelli Tuck Pointing. 314-645-1387. You might need one of two things: solid tuck pointing, the removal of old mortar with the replacement of new mortar throughout an entire wall or chimney, or maybe just spot tuck pointing. Spot tuck pointing involves the tuck pointing of a particular wall, a chimney, or other masonry surface in an area where it's needed the most. One example might be settlement cracks, usually found above or below windows or doorways. 314-645-1387. Call the company that the Brennans have called when we've needed tuck pointing. Morelli Tuck Pointing, the masonry specialists. Winner of the Angie's List Super Service Award every year since 2005. 314-645-1387, MorelliTuckPointing.com.
And our last check on traffic in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center, Captain Roger Brand.
Well, John, it's a nice morning out there. Everything's been rolling pretty nicely for us so far this